Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The Reds couldn't get much going against Washington yesterday, falling to the Nationals 8-2. Chase Burns worked 5 innings and was charged with 5 runs, while Eugenio Suarez provided all of Cincinnati's offense with a 2-run homer. The Reds will look to close out the series with a win today at 12:15, and we'll have you covered with pregame starting at 11:45 right here on The Fan. In Cleveland, the Guardians had a similar result, dropping a 6-3 decision to the White Sox. It was a scoreless game through 5 before Chicago erupted for 5 runs in the 6th. Cleveland couldn't mount a comeback from there. The Guardians and White Sox are back at it this afternoon at 2:10. Cleveland is now 3 games back of Chicago in the Central and remains tied with Minnesota for second. In the NFL, the Commanders got some tough news on the injury front. Left tackle Laramie Tunsil suffered a torn tricep at practice and is expected to have surgery. He's likely to miss a significant chunk of the season.
Oh, baby, it's time for On the Money, because let's face it, it's more fun that way.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. And presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. And by Krieger Ford.
Here's Scotty Vegas and Dave Biddle.
Welcome to On the Money, 97.1 The Fan. I am Dave Biddle, joined by Scotty Vegas, Isaiah Jacob at the controls. Scotty, we are 3 days in for Ohio State's practice. In fact, they're practicing, I believe, right now. They're going to practice today. They're going to have their 4th practice. It's actually weird not being out there.
It is.
After being out there for all 3 practices. Good to see you this morning, my friend.
Oh, Dave, this is going to be such a big show. It's such a big show. They want us to go an extra 45 minutes. We have so much content to get into today, and it's good to see you. I've seen you over the last 3 days down on campus because you and I were both out there all 3 days, and so much to get into. And I got to tell you one thing, Dave. I am now so pumped up for this team and this season. After being out there, I feel so confident going into this year after watching what we watched over those last 3 days. And I think the very best bet on the board, it's incredible to me that the over-under on Ohio State's season win total is still available at 9.5. Now, I know there's juice out there. You got to pay a little bit of the juice. But there is no way in my mind that this Ohio State football team is losing 3 games this season. I mean, after seeing the last 3 days, everything that I saw, I'd be shocked if they don't go the over 9.5 wins.
Is the juice still around like minus 160-ish?
Yeah, minus 150 I've seen out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, even with this brutal schedule, this team looks loaded to me. 9-3, is it possible? I suppose. I think 11-1 is a lot more likely than 9-3.
Yep.
And obviously, all you need is 10-2 to win the bet. Yeah. So we're gonna see. So there's so many things that we gleaned. Like a lot of times early in camp, there's really not that much. Like not this year. And good news is there's nothing really bad. Let's start with maybe like nobody has really suffered any like major injuries or anything, or even anything that might be a major injury. Remember last year, Edric Houston, the first day of camp, went down with the knee. Turned out it wasn't serious, but we're all sitting there like, oh, geez. Because they all there's certain ways that they act when they think it might be a serious injury, obviously. I don't think he got carted off, so that was a good sign. We were still wondering, is that an ACL? Turned out it was like a hyperextension, but it did limit him to begin the year. Obviously, you don't want to begin camp learning that Legend Bay is out for the first 2 days, but like as you and I were talking yesterday, it's obviously nothing too serious, or he wouldn't have just missed 2 days of practice. He would have missed at least 2 weeks, or it would have been indefinite. Still not a good way to begin your first camp at Ohio State. I know he was here for spring, but his first preseason camp. Hopefully we look back on that as a blip on the radar. So that was kind of maybe the bad thing, but a lot of good stuff, man. I mean, Isaiah West looks tremendous. This is a legit competition for RB1. And there was a lot of buzz during the offseason, as you know, Scotty, that, Isaiah West having a tremendous offseason, and this could be a legit battle. And I'm like, come on, give Bo his respect here. He had a really good year for a freshman last year, almost 1,100 yards, 6.1 yards per carry. And Isaiah looked good, too. And this is nothing. Bo looks good to me. Bo looks good. This is nothing like Bo. Has Bo Jackson taking a step back? No. Isaiah West just looks great, and this is a legit competition for RB1. I think that's a good thing for the Buckeyes. You need 2 running backs. Worked out pretty well for them 2 years ago when they had 2 main running backs. I think Devin McEwen's certainly one of the stories. He looked tremendous. I mean, he's looked good at all 3 practices. The practice Friday, he absolutely stole the show. And I think Will Smith Jr. is a good story. They're running with the ones. They're going to rotate those D tackles. But right now you have Edric Houston and Will Smith running with the ones. Doesn't look like James Smith is going to be your typical backup D tackle though for long. I know you want to talk about him.
Yeah.
He looked great. He joined Bishop and Friends, and that was a really cool interview live over there during practice. Dominic Kelly, Jay Timmons, those are big stories right there. Jay Timmons is a true freshman, is going to play. He's getting a lot of reps with the ones at nickel. Dom Kelly, if he's not a starter, he's going to play a lot at corner. So those are some things I jotted down, but a lot of cool stuff to glean after just 3 days.
And of course, if you've got questions, specific questions about camp, please hit us up. You can get us in the YouTube chat. We'd love to hear your questions. We were out there for 20 hours over the last 3 days. I mean, honestly, I got out there at 4 a.m.
You were out there 20 hours.
Yeah, 4 a.m. on Thursday, 4 a.m. on Friday, and then I was out there, and I really got to spend a lot of time on the sidelines with my 10-year-old son watching
That was
yesterday.
cool. You guys are throwing the football out there.
Yeah, so cool. Now, before we get into specifics about Ohio State players and things like that, I wanted to take a couple minutes and just talk about how proud Ohio State fans should be about this program in general, because from top to bottom, it's incredible the people that are over there. Like, it really is impressive. Ryan Day and giving his time and his access and opening up these first few practices for fans to come out and see, and giving kids the opportunity to get autographs, and for parents to be able to take their kids. It's such a cool thing that's put on, and our friends from the Buckeye Crews do an awesome job with the event. But then you have Ross Bjork and the time that he gives, and the access and the things that he lets people know, and updates on a lot of different things at the university. It's very cool how open that he is and how accessible he is. And then, Dave, the players. I got to tell you, the players are so darn impressive. Like, not just as players, but off the field, and the conversations that you can have with them, and how good they can be on air. We talked about James Smith and how he came over and was so personable, but they were all like that. Every player that they gave us access to was just so great and fun. And it was a 3 days that from top to bottom, everybody was really cool and really professional. I give a lot of credit to Will, the SID. I give a lot of credit to Dawn, who runs the facilities over there, and everyone involved in Ohio State football. Home run, because those last 3 days were awesome, Dave.
Well-oiled machine.
Yes.
And good job giving the shout-out to some of the behind-the-scenes people, because to have a well-oiled machine, you can't have people behind the scenes that aren't taking care of business, and it's first class over there. You're right. And great point on the players. I walk away from interviews all the time, and it's not a surprise anymore, but like, they recruit 5-star young men on the field, 5-star players, 5-star football players, but they recruit 5-star young men off the field too. These guys are highly intelligent. Yeah, I mean, and not everybody's the most charismatic guy in the world. You got to be who you are, but they're all impressive young men. The GPA goes up every year. People are wondering, do they even really go to class anymore? Yeah. And not all these guys are going to play in the NFL. I mean, the majority of them will not play in the NFL. They're like, the vast majority of them are going to be very successful at life. But I can't tell you, man, I'm always like kind of almost just like in awe walking away talking to some of these guys. Like Jeremiah Smith's a perfect example. I always say he's like almost too good to be true on the field and off the field, just with his attitude, the way he is the hardest worker on the team, which just sets the tone. When your best player in any sport, when your best player is the hardest worker, I mean, that's a coach's dream. And then you got a guy like Chris Henry Jr. that's trying to follow that lead. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more culture-wise than your best player, especially even in basketball, if it was your best player on a team of 15. On a team of 105 dudes, when your best player is your hardest worker, I mean, that's good business right there.
So well said, Dave. A couple things. One, as far as hardest worker, I listened to that Thad Matta and Jim Tressel podcast. I've actually listened to it twice.
I still haven't listened to it, and I can't wait.
I loved it so much. I'm doing it
today.
I loved it so much. But they talked about how important it is for your team to be successful, for your biggest and best player, biggest known, most known player, to be the leader and hardest working and to want to like bring up everybody else. Like there's so many people out there, and I'm not just talking about football, just in general, that are all about me. Like what's best for me? What's best for my little group? What's best for what we do?
Like Isaiah?
Opposite of Isaiah. Isaiah is like, well, amazing too.
How am I catching strays over here?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Catching strays across the board here.
but when your most important employee or most important player is also your hardest working and lifts everybody else up, man, it makes you so good as a team and as a company, as an individual. Like it's very cool what Jeremiah Smith has done at Ohio State. And there's a lot of people that can learn from that as being a leader and showing how hardworking and what it can be for a team. So that's one thing. The other thing is, you said it's not a surprise now at this point how great these Ohio State guys are off the, not just on the field, but off the field too. And I can tell you, you're absolutely right, because I went on the Buckeye Cruise and they started allowing some of the current players onto the Buckeye Cruise. And just the interactions that the current players would have with people that were on the ship, was impressive.
It didn't remind you of you when you were 19 or me when I was 19, right? I know these guys act like grown men.
It's insane.
I know.
These kids are on a cruise and it's like, oh, they could almost rule the ship, right? And instead they are so polite. They're so engaging. Like it's impressive. And it really is top down. And Ryan Day gets so much credit for the number of wins that he has. He also needs a ton of credit for the program that he has built and the guys that he has brought in.
Definitely. Great culture over there. And he did. And he'll be the first to tell you, he is fortunate that he was able to, inherit the infrastructure with two of the best, if not the best guys at their jobs in the country, and Mickey Marotti and Mark Pantoni. One more thing before we take a break with the Buckeyes as far as personnel. It's also interesting looking at the offensive line. First day out there, Ian Moore was at left tackle. Austin Saraville was at right guard. Then they were switching it up on Friday. Saraville was back at left tackle. Ian Moore was working some at right tackle. Padilla was in there at right guard. Hinsman was even working at right guard a little bit. They were just mixing things up. And even then yesterday I was thinking, okay, this will kind of be the tiebreaker so far. Early in practice, Saraville was back at left tackle. I'm like, maybe they're going to use him back at left tackle. But then when they went to team, meaning 11 on 11, for like the last 45 minutes, Saraville was only at right guard and Ian Moore was at left tackle. So, if I was a betting man, and as you know, I am.
We are.
I am betting that what we saw first on the first day of practice and what we saw last for a long time yesterday. I think that is right now, if they had a game, that would be the starting offensive line would be Ian Moore at left tackle, Austin Saraville at right guard, and the other spots as expected with Luke Montgomery at left guard, Carson Hinsman at center, and then Philip Daniels at right tackle. But they've got good depth there with Padilla and some of those guys. All right, up next, we're going to talk some more Ohio State football, including betting odds. This is On the Money.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite, too. Extra value meals are back.
For a limited time, get an $8 Big Mac Extra Value Meal, complete with a medium Coke and medium fries. Promotion pricing may be lower than meal pricing. Price of participation may vary.
Hey there, Bo Bishop here. Tired of the same old routine? It's time to escape with an RV from RCD RV. Motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers, they've got them all. Shop hundreds of RVs in stock today. 3 locations in Central Ohio to serve you, or online anytime at rcdrv.com.
Hi, it's Jen Winters from The Fan. I decided it was time to lose weight, not just for my health, but because I was tired of seeing myself in photos and on video. With football season coming up, I wanted to feel more confident. And that's what brought me to Hydrate Me Med Spa. I was honestly nervous walking into my first appointment, but Stacy, my nurse practitioner, put me at ease. Hydrate Me Med Spa has 4 locations in Central Ohio: Grandview, Powell, New Albany, and Granville. I'm excited to keep sharing my progress with you. Learn more at hydratememedspa.com.
When your furnace or air conditioner stops working, you can always rely on Atlas Butler to get it up and running the same day. So why not depend on Atlas Butler for all your plumbing needs? Our expert plumbers can take care of anything from a clogged drain to a broken water heater. We work on all brands of water heaters and plumbing equipment. One call does it all.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. You know High Bank Distillery Co. for its award-winning spirits, but let's talk about the food. 3 incredible restaurants across Central Ohio, happy hour with handcrafted cocktails, brunch worth planning your weekend around, dinner made from seasonal ingredients, and now even more gluten-free menu items, so there's truly something for everyone. Making it a family night, Mondays feature $5 kids meals all day long. Great food, award-winning drinks, and a vibe that keeps people coming back. Find your location and menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Nothing annoys me more than wasting time. Scotty Vegas here, and I want to be golfing or playing tennis or betting on people golfing and playing tennis. I hate waiting on an oil change, but that's all changed. Krieger Ford, the car buying experience was amazing. The service, just as good. I left my Bronco in the driveway and easily scheduled an oil change at KriegerFord.com, and they even came right to me and changed it. All game changer, the Krieger Ford experience. Experience that at KriegerFord.com.
What would it take for my child to only miss half a day of school for treatment?
What would it take to fund a cure for childhood cancer?
It would take all of us to come together to support the research. Join us. Go to childrenscancer.org today.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
It's time for the summer sunset sale at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, lease a new 26 Tucson SE for $149 per month for 36 months. $149 a month. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $49.95 down plus tax title first month payment. 7,500 miles per year ends 8/31.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor and call a Groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Ohio Basement Authority, a Groundworks company.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. When your joints hurt every day and you've been told you need surgery, all you got to do is make sure you do your homework. There's a lot of doctors that are going to try to force you under the knife, and they're going to force you for a joint replacement. But remember this, once you go and start putting hardware in there and you replace a joint, there's no going back. I've had multiple surgeries. I have hardware in my body. I don't want to do it again. And that's why I went and saw my friends at QC Kinetics to get a second opinion. I had some knee pain. It was bothering me. I went and talked to Dr. Tesner and his team about how they were going to use the regenerative treatments to help my body heal itself. It's unbelievable. It's great. They'll start with a consultation. They'll show you the healing tools. They'll show you what to do. Surgery is your choice, your body. You need to take care of it. So call QC Kinetics today for a second opinion. The consultation is totally free. Go to QCkinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Bobby Carpenter was voted Best Talk Radio Personality by Columbus Monthly Readers. Catch Bobby daily on Morning Chew, 6 to 8 a.m. on the Fan's YouTube channel, the Fan app, and on demand on the 10 TV streaming app. Oh, and Tito's there too. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Lots of sunshine for your Sunday afternoon with highs right around 90 degrees. And there'll be a nice breeze carrying us through the rest of the afternoon into the evening hours. Lots of sunshine today, not too many clouds out there, but tonight we do have a chance of seeing some isolated showers build overnight into Monday morning. We do have a chance of those becoming strong to severe. Rain chances continue Monday through Wednesday of next week. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist, Lily Aldrich with 97.1 The Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvus weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, The Fan. And now back to a show featuring two dudes who've been kicked out of their homes by angry wives. This pretty much sums up every show we have here on The Fan. You're listening to On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Good morning. Again, we are recapping the Ohio State camp over the last 3 days. And over the last 3 days, between Dave Biddle, Isaiah, Jacob, and myself, I think we've got about 50 hours of eyeballs watching Ohio State practice over the last 3 days. I don't think there's a lot of shows or a lot of people that can say that they were out there for 50 hours combined. And so we got a lot of things to get into this hour specifically. If you have questions, feel free to hit us up on the YouTube chat. One of the questions that Caleb has asked is more along the lines of the 5-year rule, the 5 for 5. And we are seeing now kind of across the country some football teams taking advantage of this ruling. And again, what this ruling was there were players that we thought were 4-year seniors last year. We thought they were graduated and they were done. However, the court case allows the 5 for 5 and is allowing some of these players to come back and play for a 5th year. And Dave, we've seen Texas take advantage of it. We've seen Indiana take advantage of it. Do we think that Ohio State in any way will be involved with potentially adding another player or two?
I do not. Right now, the only way you can do this is if you return. Now, I think this will get changed. Like everything that seems to happen, because it just, you can't restrict player movement. But right now, if you want to come back for a 5th year, these are guys that never redshirted. They thought they exhausted their eligibility with the 2025 season now, and they were not grandfathered in with the new 5 for 5. And we've seen a couple guys do it. We'll get to them in just a second, as Scotty mentioned. Will Ohio State pursue any of these guys? No, because I don't think they want any of their guys that are interested in coming back. Like Jaden Fielding, for example, would be one. I know Buckeye fans just drove their car into a ditch here. And don't worry, he's not going to come back. He's not. They addressed the kicker situation with Connor Hawkins. They even brought in a freshman kicker who he's looked decent. They brought in a kickoff specialist from Notre Dame. They're good at kicker, so don't worry about it. So I do not think Ohio State's going to add anybody. But it is interesting. 2 teams that Ohio State's going to play, 2 of the best teams in the country, have taken advantage of it. Let's start with Texas. They're getting back an offensive lineman named Cole Hudson, who never redshirted again, played as a true freshman, played in a career, 48 career games for the Longhorns, started 23. He's played at tackle, guard, and center. Started 23 games. Thought he exhausted his eligibility, went undrafted. Was in minicamp with the Cleveland Browns. They cut him. Then he was in minicamp with the Dallas Cowboys. They cut him. And then this ruling came down. He said he wanted to come back. He's back at Texas. Now Texas all of a sudden has a 5th-year lineman that has 23 starts under his belt who's back. Now, is it a huge deal? Well, I think it's reasonable to assume if he was actually that good, he'd at least be on a practice squad, or at least would be still in camp. They haven't even cut down to their practice squads yet. So, but still, that's a good thing for Texas. Depth is good, and options are good. And then the other young man is Indiana's defensive end, Kellen Wyatt. Same exact deal. He's coming back for a 5th year. Again, if he was a stud, would he be at least in an NFL camp right now? Yes, but depth is good. And Indiana, I feel like they're underrated at 6th. Like, are we really still? I know 6th is not like they're 16th, but like, are we really, really, really still going to doubt Kurt Signetti? Like,
nope.
No. Anyway, anyway, so it's fascinating that like these guys now have a 5th year, but Buckeye fans, I don't expect Ohio State to get anybody, and it is interesting that Texas and Indiana each got somebody back.
So we, of course, do our betting at Hollywood Casino Columbus, and I want to update some of your betting odds out there for Ohio State and this season. First off, the updated Ohio State-Texas line. Again, this is still a ways away, but Ohio State is a 1.5-point dog right now in the look-ahead line for Ohio State and Texas. Ohio State is a 50.5-point favorite in Week 1 against Ball State. The over-under season win total, again, this is regular season, so 12 games. The over-under total is 9.5. Now, you think that, like, oh my gosh, 9.5. Now, the juice on that currently is Ohio State over 9.5 is minus 180. So that means you're throwing $100 on that bet on Ohio State to get to 10 wins, and you're winning back $55.56. So $55 back on a $100 bet on the over 9.5. Now we go to Ohio State just to make the playoffs. They're minus 270. So they are minus 270 to be a playoff team. That means a $100 bet on Ohio State to make the playoffs wins back $37. Now let's go to conference championship. Ohio State is currently plus 185 to win the Big Ten. $100 bet brings back $185 on that one. And then national championship, Ohio State is currently co-favorites at Hollywood Casino Columbus at 6-1, co-favorites with Notre Dame, who's also 6-1. And after watching Jeremiah Smith up close and personal yesterday, I was kind of even more interested in placing a Heisman Trophy bet on Jeremiah Smith. He is currently 15-1 to win the Heisman, and Julian Sayin is sitting there at 13-1. So those are your updated betting odds on Ohio State football at this point.
I like Julian at 13-1. If I had to pick one guy, I'm not predicting he's going to win it, but if I had to, as I like to say, if you made me pick one guy, I would pick Julian. And I have a long shot bet in on Jaden Mayava from USC. I got him at 33-1. I think that's down to like 25-1 now. One thing Lincoln Riley can do is produce the Heisman winning quarterbacks. I think Julian's got a good shot, and I like what I'm seeing out of him. And the thing about Jeremiah, unless he has like some ends around or Julian gets banged up a couple games and Tavian has to come in there, Julian's going to get credit for pretty much everything that, stats wise.
Yep.
And then more, because, guys like Devin McEwen are going to have an impact, and Chris Henry Jr. and Brandon Ennis. I would stay away from those Buckeye fans out there that heard, Big Ten championship, like plus 170. That sounds good. Here's the thing. Not that Ohio State doesn't want to win the Big Ten championship, but like you asked them about their goals, they're crystal clear. Beat Michigan, win the national championship. What did you notice anything they skipped over there? And Ryan, then somebody even said something to Ryan Day about it, Big Ten Media Days, because Sayin said the same thing, JJ said the same thing, Ryan Day said it a couple times. Like, these are our goals, and obviously, you want to win as many games as possible, make sure you make the college football playoff. But somebody asked him, wait a minute, what about the Big Ten championship? He said, well, obviously that is a goal. You said you asked our main goals, and those are our main goals. Obviously, we want to win the Big Ten championship, but he said, especially in this day and age, I'm paraphrasing, and he didn't say it's not as important as it used to be. He answered it very craftfully, but basically he said it's not as important as it used to be, because it's not. He's absolutely right. It's going to be going away when they do the 2014 playoff, which seems like the most inevitable thing in the world to me, Scotty. Petiti said we're going to do away with the conference championship game. So, not that Ohio State doesn't want to win the Big Ten title, but if you're looking to bet on the Buckeyes and you're a big Buckeye fan, I would steer clear of the Big Ten championship, because they don't seem to put as much emphasis on that as maybe you would think.
So I'm glad you brought that up as far as the Big Ten championship, because we had the chance to talk to Ross Bjork a couple times throughout our shows. And I love that T-Bone and Tyvis really kind of asked about the 2014 playoff and really kind of got some interesting responses from Ross on that. And I can't wait to tell you what Ross had to say. There's a lot of good updates on the playoff. We're going to do it in 2 minutes right here on the Money.
Common Man and Timmy here for our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Mikey, there's so much fun this month. It's just fantastic.
We've got Sun-Kissed Summer Saturday drawings where you can win up to $500 in pen cash, plus all-you-can-eat crab legs still going on.
You mean the Canadian snow crab legs, corn on the cob, and Hawaiian rolls every Tuesday?
Of course. Plus the last Saturday in the month, play the Queen's Gamble for a chance to win up to $5,000 in pen cash.
$5,000? Must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Whether it's water heater trouble, clogged or leaky pipes, or sub pump worries, Logan Services has you covered with service calls for just $79. We're fast, friendly, and here to help you with your plumbing projects. Logan Services.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment? Facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
At CEC Turf and Tractor, family means everything. That's why we're proud to welcome Green & Sons Equipment's Mount Sterling and Marysville locations to the CEC family. We're honored to carry on the relationships Green & Sons has built in these communities for generations while expanding our ability to serve you with more parts, more inventory, and faster response times. As one of Ohio's largest Kubota dealers, CEC Turf and Tractor is growing without losing sight of what matters most: hardworking people, trusted relationships, and hometown service. Visit CECturfandtractor.com today for all your Kubota needs.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray, the Fan. Scotty Vegas is still offering player props at his kids' soccer games. This is On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
So there's been a lot of interesting topics in the college football world in the offseason, and one of them has been the 24-team playoff. And we know how big of a power player Ohio State is and Ross Bjork is, and how important his opinion and his thoughts are. And I thought it was very interesting. He was on T-Bone and Tyvis, and he talked a little bit about the 24-team playoff. And then I'm also going to give a little perspective from what was kind of being talked about off air as well. So let's go ahead and play what he said from his interview on Friday.
Yes, I do see it going to 24 to answer that question for sure. And look, I just think that selfishly, Ohio State could go back to 2.
Yes.
Go back to the BCS era. We could go back to 4. We could stay at 12. And look, we benefited from that 2 years ago. We benefited from an expanded playoff. 10-2 in the old system, you would not get in. I just think the game's evolving. I think the players want to play high-leverage games. I think they're actually – people talk about, well, teams are going to shut down. They're not going to emphasize November. No. As a competitor, you think you're going to shut down in that last game of the year?
Not a chance.
There's no way in
yeah,
you know what?
Say it.
Right? And so
say worse every day.
I just think the game's evolving. People want these high-leverage games. Look, people criticize us in this era for talking about content and – well, guess what's driving it? Revenue. Guess what we have to do? We have to give more money to the athletes. So what that does, expanded playoff.
So, and also talking to him a little bit, he mentioned that, the one thing that has been kind of the pushback on the 2014 playoff has been the SEC. And that's kind of the perception that, okay, everyone's for it at this point except for the SEC. Well, that's not totally true. So there's a lot of people within the SEC are actually on board. They realize the revenue generator that the 2014 playoff would be. They're playing a little bit of a leverage play here. So you play like, oh, yeah, if we're going to give you guys the 2014 playoff, you got to have a little concession on this. So there's a little politicking involved with the 2014 playoff, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen because of the amount of money that's involved. And I bet it's going to happen relatively soon. I know there's meetings coming up relatively soon as far as the conference commissioners and presidents getting together to discuss it. So I bet that's going to be news on the horizon very soon, Dave.
Both of you know that I do not like the prediction markets because of the insider trading. Unless I happen to have the inside information ahead of time, then maybe I like it. No, I'm not a big fan of Polymarket or Kalshi. If I was, I would go heavy on we will not only have a 2014 playoff eventually, specifically 2027 season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this will be the last year of the 12-team playoff, a long 3-year stretch of the 12-team playoff before we double it, after we tripled it. But yeah, it seems inevitable. And the fact they're getting rid, I'm totally okay with it. I would be so against it if they were keeping the conference championship games. What's the point of them even right now with the 12-team playoff, let alone like 24 teams? So knowing Petiti flat out coming out and say, yeah, we're going to do away with the Big Ten championship game when we go to 24. I like how, and he did slip up once and say when we go to 24.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. And I agree with Ross. Is it going to affect Ohio State? Hopefully not. Hopefully there's not a year where Ohio State gets into their 13th through 24th. But I think it's good for the sport. And there's still, rewards to play for. You don't want to be teams 17 through 24, have to play a first-round game on the road. And I know it didn't work out the first 2 years, but we're talking about a sample size of 2 years. It worked out well last year for Indiana. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered them having the bye. But now we have proof of concept that you can have the bye and you can still win the national championship. I maintain it's good to have the bye, and the top 8 teams are still going to have a bye. I kind of wish the top 8 teams were still able to host a first-round game on campus. I feel like that would be the ultimate reward, but they're still going to do the quarterfinals at bowl games. I don't really like that, but That's slow to die off. But yeah, man, we're going to 24 at some point. I would bet heavily it's going to be 2027.
Yeah, and I want to get to a couple of these YouTube questions in just a second. I do want to say one other thing about the playoff, too. Look, Ohio State fans, the first 4-team playoff, you won the national championship. The first 12-team playoff, you won the national championship. Hey, first 24-team playoff, let's go win the national championship.
That's a great point. And I know they didn't win the first BCS, but it was like the fourth.
Yeah.
It didn't take them long to win that was obviously the Tressel, like Ohio State over Miami game.
So a couple of the YouTube questions that I want to get to. And again, we love to get your questions. Between the three of us, between Isaiah, Dave, and I, we were out at camp over the last 3 days for a combined over 50 hours. So we've seen a lot of Buckeye football over the last 3 days. So feel like if you got a question and you want it answered, get in that YouTube chat and ask us. One of the questions comes regarding the linebackers, and it is from Ed Rogers. He says, can our linebackers play at a national championship level?
Yes. Will they be as good as last year? No. That would be highly disrespectful to Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. We've never seen that at Ohio State. We've seen 2 linebackers go in the first round. We saw A.J. Hawk and Bobby Carpenter go in the first round in the same draft. We've seen that. We've never seen 2 go in the top 10, let alone 2 in the top 7. So are they going to be as good as they were last year? No. But James Laurinaitis likes this linebacker room, and I can see why. He likes Peyton Pierce. He likes Christian Allegro. Those are the presumptive starters. Allegro can switch down to defensive end as well. But they really like Riley Pettijohn entering his second year. He was a big-time recruit. He was running with the ones some yesterday. They really like TJ Alford, another second-year guy who played a little bit as a freshman last year, big-time recruit. He had a monster spring, and he looks good out there. They like their linebackers. Sincere Johnson, freshman from Glenville. He's going to be a stud here. Is he going to play a lot as a true freshman? I should just say freshman, true freshman. I got to get that out of my lexicon, Scott. They're just freshmen now. He'll play this year, but he might not break out till next year. But yes, this linebacking core absolutely is good enough to win a national championship, despite the fact that they lost 2 studs.
So, you know what I trust? I trust that James Laurinaitis and Matt Patricia, I know there was a lot lost on this defense, but those 2 are as good of assistant coaches that you could have, or coordinators that you could have in the country. And so I have confidence, yes, the Ohio State linebackers will be good enough to win a national championship. Another YouTube question from $10, and this is on the quarterback play. His question is, how much of a progression do you think Sayan will make in year 2 under Ryan Day?
I think it'll be not huge because he had a really good year. I mean, 77% completion percentage. That's the all-time Ohio State record. At one point, it looked like he was going to set the all-time college football record for completion percentage. But I do think he's going to have a better year now with 14 starts under his belt. I also think Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator is an underreported story, because I think that we're going to look back on that as not just an improvement, but a noticeable improvement over Brian Hartline, who was the best in the business at wide receiver recruiting and developing wide receivers. I thought he was over his head as an offensive coordinator, and I think Arthur Smith, and you talk to the guys, they're extremely excited about some of the things Arthur Smith's doing. They're careful not to give you too many specifics, but I think that's a huge part of it. So I think when you add it all up, a full year of starting under his belt, now entering his 3rd year, he's bulked up a little bit. He's up to about 214 pounds. Ryan Day says he's got a different look in his eye. He still is the best receiver in college football, and I think the supporting cast is a lot better at wide receiver than maybe people thought, with McEwen stepping up and some others like Brock Boyd. Just some of the guys people knew were going to play, like Brandon Ennis and Chris Henry Jr. They're pretty deep at wide receiver. So to answer your question, I think you can definitely expect an improved Julian Sayin, and that's saying a lot, no pun intended, because he was a Heisman finalist last year as a redshirt freshman. I think now in his 3rd year, man, as I said earlier, if I had to pick one person to win the Heisman, it's Julian.
Well, the other thing is, and Carson Hensman was talking about this a little bit with Eric Reeser and Jeff Thidoff yesterday afternoon, is he's really found his voice, right? As far as a leadership role, he is the guy. He knows he's the guy. Remember, last summer, you had that quarterback battle, right, with Keen Holtz and with Sayin. Yeah, we use quotes on battle, but it was there. And, the fact that Sayin is the guy, is the leader, I think that is a huge thing, too. And Hensman's he's way more vocal than he was at this time last year. And that's another big thing. One other question I want to get into for you, Dave, from the YouTube chat is from Mello 7679. How's Riley Pettijohn looking?
Good. Just the fact that he was out there with the first team defense. And I'm not saying he's going to be a starter, but they're rotating a lot of guys, as everybody who follows football understands. Like the first few days, you don't do it as much in the NFL because these rosters aren't as big. You have 105 guys. You're moving guys around. You want guys to be versatile. You also want to find out for sure, even if you have a really good idea who your starters are going to be, top backups, you want to move guys around. So they're rotating a lot of guys. That being said, you can tell they really like Riley Pettijohn. I mean, he played a decent amount as a freshman last year when they had Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and even guys like Peyton Pierce. He still was out there like a decent amount as a freshman last year. Again, a big-time recruit from Texas. They really like Riley Pettijohn. I know they like TJ Alford as well, but the fact that yesterday I saw number 5 out there, Pettijohn, getting some first-team reps, that was very, very notable. Told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, and one other question from Muggsy. The top seeds would get 2 home playoff games is his question. Remind us of how that would probably work, please. So I think he's referring to if this is a 24-team playoff in that sense, is how that would work out.
The top 8 teams would.
Yeah, so the top 8 then would get a bye. In the 24-team playoff, you would have 9 through 24 play in the first round, and that 9 through, 16?
Yeah, would have
a home game.
Yeah.
And then what would happen is your next round would be your round of 16. You would have 16 teams left. So you would have those top 8 teams get a home playoff.
Oh, that's
game.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So
I miscalculated earlier. Yes, so you still would get a home playoff game.
You would.
Oh,
And
that's
then
another thing I like. I'm sorry. Yeah, I messed that up. Another thing I like about the 2014 playoff, you still would get a home playoff game if you were 1 through 8. Plus, you get the bye.
Yes. So that's the thing that was annoying about this last year, right? For those teams that didn't get a home playoff game, like you're watching and you're seeing Oregon and Texas Tech, and the atmospheres of the home playoff game were off the charts awesome. And then it was kind of like, gosh, that sucks. We would have loved to have been a part of that. In the new 24-team playoff, those top 8 would get the bye and then would get that opportunity.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, and again, it's the most inevitable thing in the world to me that we're going to have a 24-team playoff because, like you said, it's like it'd be one thing if the SEC was like completely against it, but you had the Big Ten, and I know that really the ACC and the Big 12, their opinion doesn't matter, but the fact that they're all in on it as well, I think at least helps the cause a little bit for a 24-team playoff, and Notre Dame's in on it. If it was just that and the SEC was against it, I would still feel confident we're headed to that eventually. But as you mentioned, the SEC, they're not really against it. They're just like looking for a little leverage, little negotiation ploy. You had the AD at Tennessee, Danny White, come out last year and say, or earlier this year, like during the winter, during their meeting, saying that he is absolutely for a 24-team playoff. So it's like, it's not only there's dissension in the ranks in the SEC. I mean, it's just flat out, as Ross was alluding to, just kind of a negotiation. Very, very interesting stuff. All right, up next, Scotty, Isaiah, and I are going to rank the Big Ten teams 1 through 12 in football this year. That's up next on The Money.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Feels like every football season starts the same. June becomes August in the blink of an eye. Eric Reeser here. The older I get, the more I need to stay physically and mentally ready for the grind. The team over at Hydrate Me Med Spa has been my go-to over the last 2 seasons. Their IV treatments provide vitamins, antioxidants, and natural energy enhancements. 4 locations, Grandview, Powell, New Albany, and Granville. Most treatments take less than 30 minutes, and if you're like me and not a fan of needles, their medically trained nursing staff makes the experience a breeze. Look your best, feel your best, book your drip at hydratememedspa.com.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
Over the years, the Reds have almost always had local ownership. But one exception was in the early 1900s when an Indianapolis businessman, John Brush, owned the club. But Brush wanted to buy the New York Giants. And on this August 9th in 1902, he sold the Reds to a local group for $180,000. That's about $5 million today. The new head of the Reds was Gary Herman, a well-known politician in Cincinnati and a popular owner. He once boasted he was not only the new president of the Reds, but he was the champion beer drinker and sausage eater, too. Now that's a baseball fan. Gary Herman buys the Reds this August 9th, 1902. This date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite, too. Extra value meals are back.
Enjoy a $5 sausage McMuffin with egg extra value meal, complete with hash browns and a small coffee. Most stores open 5 a.m. or earlier. Price and participation may vary. Promotion pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
Are you a smoker of delicious chicken wings? Then fire up your team for the Sunbury Smokin' Hot Wing and Music Fest, sponsored by the Fraternal Order of Eagles, 3614 in Sunbury. Join us October 3rd for a full day of wings, beer, music, and competition. Spots are limited, so register now at smokinghotevents.com. Best of all, you'll help support two incredible causes: Big Walnut Friends Who Share and the Ohio Fallen Heroes Memorial. So bring the smoke and sign up now. smokinghotevents.com.
One bite in, you'll be saying, that's hot as fire. Speedway's new Hottest Fire Chicken Sandwich turns up the temp. Eat the heat for $4.99 only at Speedway. Valid through 8/25/26. Participating stores. Exclude Speedy Cafe. See app for full terms.
Hey, it's Timmy Hall for Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice, Orthopedic One. A couple years ago, I felt like I was breezing through life. I was tearing through rounds of golf, and it hit me. Excruciating hip pain. Hip that would not go away until I saw my friends at Orthopedic One. Then, bye-bye pain. So if you're dealing with constant pain or you suffered an injury, start with the specialist. Start at orthopedic1.com. There's no referral required, and there's several convenient locations in Central Ohio. Schedule your appointment at orthopedic1.com.
When your furnace or air conditioner stops working, you can always rely on Atlas Butler to get it up and running the same day. So why not depend on Atlas Butler for all your plumbing needs? One call does it all.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Nothing annoys me more than wasting time. Scotty Vegas here, and I want to be golfing or playing tennis or betting on people golfing and playing tennis. I hate waiting on an oil change, but that's all changed. Krieger Ford, the car buying experience was amazing. The service, just as good. I left my Bronco in the driveway and easily scheduled an oil change at KriegerFord.com, and they even came right to me and changed it. All game changer, the Krieger Ford experience. Experience that at KriegerFord.com.
I have a special announcement. Common Man and Timmy is the most listened to radio show in the state of Ohio. Coming in at number 2, Common Sense. You should listen anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Dave Biddle named his own dog Parlay. This is On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
All right, let's give our Big Ten preseason rankings in football. Let's go 1 through 12. And I love Phil Steele, but are we going to agree no ties?
No ties.
No ties. So I love Phil, but he's got like five ties, including 3 three-way ties in his Big Ten standings. And I get it, because he feels like these teams, certain teams with 18 teams and only 9 games. You're going to have some teams that tie. I get it, but we're going to not have ties.
Can we also put something on the line? Like, I feel like we need to hold ourselves accountable.
Whoever orders our wings has to pay for it.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
We need to decide that
at the end of the year. Once whoever gets the most right, the last place person should have to order breakfast
and bring it in,
for one of our shows in like December.
How about post Big Ten championship game?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Right after the Big Ten championship game, you got to bring in breakfast for the others. So we got something on the line. We want to hold ourselves accountable.
So our wings delivery later today with the extended show, we'll just split that 3 ways, and then we'll worry about the bet.
Yeah.
After
and you get a point for every one that you get correct in that order.
Okay, good deal. All right, number 1, let's go around the horn here. I'm shockingly, I have Ohio State as number 1.
Yep, I have Ohio State as number 1 as well.
That makes 3.
Okay.
This is where it gets a little interesting to me. Because I am not going to doubt this man. You could put him at number 1. I have number 2. I have the Indiana Hoosiers, the defending national champion, which will never, ever, ever not be weird for me to say. I've got Indiana number 2.
Isaiah, who do you have it to?
The Fighting Dan Lannings. I'm taking Oregon.
Oh, shoot. I also have Oregon. So I have Ohio State beating Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. And you obviously have Indiana. All right. So
I think losing both coordinators is something that's unreported for Oregon, and Indiana kept both their coordinators, who are both going to be probably the last year they're going to keep those coordinators. Both those guys are going to be head coaches. Oregon lost both of their coordinators, had to promote from within. Give me the Buckeye. And I love, even though the Buckeyes didn't get both their coordinators, they upgraded an offensive coordinator, and in my opinion, brought back either the best or the second best defensive coordinator in the country, because Indiana's defensive coordinator is really good too. All right, moving right along. Number 3, I have Oregon. I'm sure you guys have Indiana.
Yes.
All right. Number 4, USC.
I've got Penn State.
Oh!
And I took Penn State, not because I love Penn State, but I love the schedule that they have.
They do have an easy schedule.
So I got Penn State at 4.
They miss Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon.
Ridiculous.
Kill me for this one. And I also did
Michigan.
this because of schedule. I've got the Wolverines in the 4 spot.
That's going to be a nice little big spot for us. Someone's going to take a huge jump up based on who finishes 4th.
Number 5, I have that team up north.
I have USC.
I have USC.
Okay. Number 6, I have the Fighting Matt Campbell's, Penn State.
Okay. I went Michigan at 6.
I went Penn State at 6.
All right.
Penn State is basically Iowa State East this year, not just their head coach. They brought basically what Cignetti did when he went from JMU to Indiana, but like on steroids. Like I think Cignetti brought 12 or 13 guys with him from JMU, and brought like a bunch of other guys from the portal, like the quarterback from OU. I think Matt Campbell brought like 25 guys from Iowa State with him over to Penn State, and then he gets this easy schedule. How about that? James Franklin must be thinking, oh, this is a year you don't play Ohio State, plus you don't play Oregon or Indiana. Like, what's going on here?
Right. So one thing that I note from this is I feel like there's 2 tiers. There's the top tier, which is Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, which the 3 of us had in some order, Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana. And then there's tier 2, which is, I think, 3 teams, because the 3 of us all have Penn State, USC, and Michigan, all kind of in that same little tier from 4 to 6.
You nailed it. There's clearly, in my opinion, 2 main tiers with 3 teams each. You nailed Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, whatever order in tier 1, and then USC, Michigan, Penn State in whatever order in tier 2. So those 6 teams all expected to be good. Where I think the Big Ten has, on paper, in my opinion, has really leveled up, because we know that, they're top heavy. I like teams 7 through 13. I think the middle part of the Big Ten is going to be strong. We're going to get into our predictions with that here in a second. I really think there's only 5 teams in the Big Ten that I'm confident will be terrible this year, and that's Purdue, Rutgers, Michigan State, Maryland, and Northwestern. And maybe not terrible. Maybe a team like Northwestern won't be terrible. But those are the 5 that I'm giving no chance to. I think I'll put those in tier 4. Tier 3, let's start with number 7. I have, and this is an interesting one, I think you could make an argument for 3 different teams here. I have the Washington Huskies. I like the fact they're bringing back Damon Williams at quarterback. They got a lot of other returning starters. I like Washington at number 7.
I have Washington as well.
I have Washington at number 7.
Hey, all the Husky fans that love our show are just thrilled waking up in Seattle right now and listening to this. Number 8, I have the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Buckeyes will travel to Iowa City.
I also have the Iowa Hawkeyes at 8.
I also have the Iowa Hawkeyes at number 8.
Okay.
And this is a team I think could be, this next team I think could be, I'm not saying they're going to contend for the Big Ten championship, but their schedule's manageable. They got their quarterback back. They got a lot of starters back. They've got a very caffeinated head coach. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are number 9.
Ooh, okay. So you have Minnesota a lot higher than I do.
Ooh.
I do like Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like if you look at that schedule, I get why you have them at 9. I ended up going with Luke Fickell in Wisconsin.
I do like their transfer quarterback, Colton Joseph.
I'm
Yes.
a little bit worried because the schedule for Wisconsin is very difficult, but I think that this is going to be a step-up year for Wisconsin. I think they get to 9th in the Big Ten.
I really hate that me and Scott have the same take here because I was hoping that I would be the one that had Wisconsin much higher than the others. I also have Wisconsin here in the 9 spot. Maybe Luke Fickell finally with a quarterback will be able to put something together here because he hasn't had one the past couple seasons he's been at Wisconsin.
And it's a running I mean, he can throw it too, but this guy rushed for over 1,000 yards. He's come from Old Dominion, but he was like the conference player of the year there. And Old Dominion's now a D1 team. I think that they finally found their quarterback. Not that he's going to be a star, but I think Colton Joseph is going to have a good year for them. Wisconsin having like a running quarterback just feels right. When they tried to go to like air raid, I'm like, come on, you're Wisconsin. Give me those 5th-year senior, like 350-pound offensive linemen and give me about 3 running backs, one of which is going to be like a Heisman candidate. Come on, that's Wisconsin football. All right, and they're getting back to it. All right, number 10, Fighting Illini is who I have.
Oh,
Illinois.
so you don't even have Wisconsin in your top 10.
No, I don't.
Okay. Mine, I've got Minnesota in there at 10.
Okay. You said I had Minnesota a lot higher than you. I had Minnesota at 9th, and you had them at 10th. Scotty Vegas, everybody. All right.
Well, actually, I will say my original list had Minnesota at 12.
He's audibling on the go here.
And I switched it up because you convinced me. And second of all, I pulled up the Minnesota schedule.
There you go. Drake Lindsay, I think, is going to be a good quarterback.
And I don't want to buy your breakfast.
All right. And I got you.
I've got, in the 10 spots, I'm picking the UCLA Bruins. Making a big jump.
I can see that. Okay, real quick. At number 11, I have Nebraska, but I was tempted to go with Chesney and Nico and the boys, but I went with Nebraska.
No Nebraska in my top 12. I've got Illinois at 11.
Okay.
I also have Illinois at number 11.
I have Wisconsin at 12th, but I strongly considered UCLA. I think tier 3 is 7 through 13, and then I think tier 4 is 14 through 18.
UCLA is number 12 for me.
And then I have Nebraska at number 12. Minnesota was the next team that I had written down, but outside the top 12.
So we all had like an other receiving vote. Like we always had like a different 13th team or 12th team. That's good. So we weren't too like. I was the only one that believed in Kurt Signetti. I learned there.
Quick tiebreaker for our contest. Number of playoff teams. I think that should be the tiebreaker. If we tie the number of spots, number of points in our contest, I am going to go with 4 Big Ten teams. And if you guys stick to what you said previously, you both are going to say 3.
If we're going with the tiebreaker, then I can't pick 4 now since you went. I'll go 3. There's no way I'm going 5. I'll go 3.
Well, I guess I'm not taking.
Go 3.
I'm not taking 6, so I'm going to go with 3 as well with Dave.
There you go. All right, first hour of the show is in the book. Stick around for the second hour. This is On the Money.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. You've heard me talk about High Bank's award-winning whiskey, but did you know they also make the best vodka in the world? That's High Bank Distillery Co., and they're more than just incredible spirits. With 3 amazing locations around Central Ohio, High Bank serves up scratch-made food, handcrafted cocktails, and a vibe that keeps people coming back time and time again. Whether it's date night, game day, brunch with friends, or dinner with family, High Bank delivers every single time. Learn more at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
At CEC Turf and Tractor, family means everything. That's why we're proud to welcome Green & Sons Equipment's Mount Sterling and Marysville locations to the CEC family. We're honored to carry on the relationships Green & Sons has built in these communities for generations while expanding our ability to serve you with more parts, more inventory, and faster response times. As one of Ohio's largest Kubota dealers, CEC Turf and Tractor is growing without losing sight of what matters most: hardworking people, trusted relationships, and hometown service. Visit CECturfandtractor.com today for all your Kubota needs.
Common Man and Timmy here for our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Mikey, there's so much fun this month. It's just fantastic.
We've got Sun-Kissed Summer Saturday drawings where you can win up to $500 in pen cash, plus all-you-can-eat crab legs still going on.
You mean the Canadian snow crab legs, corn on the cob, and Hawaiian rolls every Tuesday?
Of course. Plus the last Saturday in the month, play the Queen's Gamble for a chance to win up to $5,000 in pen cash.
5,000? Must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Trust isn't built in a day. It's built over years of showing up, doing the right thing, and standing behind every promise. For 34 years, that's exactly what Newman Roofing has done for families across Central Ohio. We know inviting a contractor to your home is a big decision. That's why we believe every homeowner deserves honest, transparent communication and a team that's there to educate you, not pressure you. The goal is simple. Deliver a white glove customer experience that leaves you just as confident in the process as you are in the finished product. That commitment has earned Newman Roofing the honor of being voted City Scene Magazine's best roofing company 5 years in a row. This award represents something more important than just recognition. It represents the trust of our neighbors. So, if you're considering a new roof, siding, or gutters, choose the local company that's spent more than 3 decades putting families first. Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
At Wright Pat Credit Union, we are owned by our members, not shareholders. So our only bottom line is you.
What's the catch?
There isn't one. I mean, I guess you have to be a member.
Uh-huh. And what's that cost?
Oh, there's no monthly cost.
Oh, but there's a bunch of eligibility restrictions, right?
No. If you live here, you can bank here.
No catch. What is this?
It's banking done right. Wright Pat Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The Reds dropped to the Nationals yesterday 8-2. Chase Burns went 5 innings, giving up 5 runs, while Eugenio Suarez hit Cincinnati's lone home run, a 2-run shot that accounted for both of the Reds' runs. They'll wrap up the series today at 12:15 with pregame coverage right here on The Fan beginning at 11:45. The Guardians also fell yesterday, losing to the White Sox 6-3. After 5 scoreless innings, Chicago broke through with 5 runs in the 6th, and Cleveland never found an answer. The Guardians and White Sox will meet again today at 2:10. Cleveland sits 3 games behind Chicago in the AL Central and is tied with Minnesota for second place. In the NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame inducted its class of 2026 yesterday in Canton, honoring Drew Brees, Adam Vinatieri, Luke Kuechly, Larry Fitzgerald, and Roger Craig with gold jackets and bronze busts. Sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Some people golf on Sunday mornings. Some people place bets on the people playing golf on Sunday mornings. This is On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Welcome back to On the Money, 97.1 The Fan. I am Dave Biddle. I am joined by Scott Prokop. We like to call him Scotty Vegas. We have producer Isaiah Jacob at the controls. And right about now, my friends, it is time for the Parlay Party. Hit it. All right, parlay parties are where we celebrate anything we want to celebrate. Could be a nice parlay that we hit. Could be anything at all, Scotty. What are you celebrating?
I'm loving the fact that this show this morning is so big, they said, go an extra 45 minutes. And so we are going to do it. We've got all kinds of Ohio State fall camp reactions to get into. Again, between the 3 of us, we were out there for a combined 50 hours over the last 3 days. So we've got a lot of observations. We've talked a little bit about them in the first hour, but we're going to get into them even more in the next hour and 45 minutes with you. Also celebrating the fact that, gosh, it was so fun out there. I took my 10-year-old son, Spencer. We were standing on the sidelines watching. We saw Jeremiah Smith up close. We saw Julian Sand. It was just a really, really cool experience. Tons of credit goes to the Buckeye Cruise folks, Chris, Lisa, Kyle, the entire gang out there was awesome. They do such a good job with every event that they do, and this was top notch in everything. And then a lot of credit to Ohio State. the access that they gave us was really cool. Talk to Ryan Day, talk to Ross Bjork, talk to the coordinators, talk to a bunch of players. So much fun, and that was an awesome day. And then Dave got the opportunity with my 10-year-old son to throw some passes on the practice field. He caught a couple touchdown passes in the Buckeye end zone there. Really cool, really fun week.
I saw that when I was on. I did a little hit with Tito and Reese yesterday during Fan Sports Saturday, and while we're like live on the air, I saw you and your son throwing the football together on the practice field. I'm like, your son's going to remember that as long. I mean, how cool is that? How cool is that?
That's
He's going to remember that as long as he lives. That's really cool. All right, I'm celebrating. Yeah, it was awesome being out there the last 3 days. The entire practice being open, all 3 days, that was really cool. Seeing everybody out there, and you're right, it's just a first-class operation out there. The people behind the scenes, the coaches themselves. So that was a lot of fun. And my second and final thing is, most important, is it is my daughter's Megan's birthday today.
Ooh,
Happy birthday, Megan. I'm very proud of her, and we're going to be going to a hibachi, a little Japanese steakhouse action. You know, we love some Japanese steakhouses.
Love hibachi.
I know, and I'm like, I'm definitely getting, the steak and the shrimp. I want to throw some scallops on there too and get really ridiculous. Get the steak, shrimp, and scallops hibachi, but we'll see. But happy birthday, Megan.
For me, some big moves. Finally, I've been waiting for this for years, and thank goodness Dave and his Reds decided to be a part of it. The Guardians made some deadline acquisitions here, trying to add a couple key pieces here as we push for a little playoff run. So I'm always happy when the Guards make some moves at the deadline. Typically they don't, so I was happy to see Joe Adele, obviously the Reds sending over Nathaniel Lowe. And then
he's good.
Foster Griffin.
He's going to help you guys against right-handed pitching. Like I was upset, even though the Reds are out of it. I was like, that's dumb to give him up basically for nothing for like an A-ball pitcher. But seriously, that is going to be good for you guys. Like he's a solid hitter.
Yes, I was really excited about the Guardians moves. And then today, in the evening time, hanging out with the family, we're doing a combination of a couple different birthday dinners. We're behind on a few. We're celebrating my birthday, which happened in the middle of July, my brother's birthday, which was this past Wednesday, and then my mom's birthday, which is coming up in about a week. We're going to do a big birthday celebration this afternoon. So lots of good food there. Excited to hang out with the fam.
I like it. A little birthday parlay.
Maybe maybe I'll run into Isaiah and his family at the Japanese steakhouse.
That would really be funny.
That would be perfect. Now we're doing hibachi. I guess I'll opt to just pick one.
Now, are you taking up one full hibachi table today, Dave? Or
no, it's just the four of us. So we might be at the same table with Isaiah and his family.
We'll be on the other half.
Yeah.
Right.
My youngest doesn't like that. She's like, I just wish it was our table. I kind of like it as long as the people. I mean, in 99 out of 100 times the people are cool. Like,
yeah, especially if you're at a hibachi place. You're already in a good mood.
Exactly. It's just there's nothing like it because it's like a show and an awesome meal. All right. Speaking of awesome, you and Ryan Baker during the Collins show did the all John Cooper team, and for those that missed the last couple of weeks, you guys did a all Ryan Day team, you did an all Urban Meyer team, an all Jim Tressel team, and now it was time for the all Coop team. 13 years of Coop. I imagine that the mid '90s era is going to get a lot of love here for some reason. All right, I'm curious to hear this.
No
now,
doubt.
Quarterback to me, I haven't heard what you guys did.
Yep.
Quarterback to me would be a very interesting competition between one Bobby Hoying and Joe Germain.
Yes, and we kind of went back and forth on that one, and we ended up going because of that 97 Rose Bowl, and we know that, he had to split time with Stanley Jackson, unfortunately, but then once, 98 happened, he put together an incredible season. We went with Joe Germain to represent the John Cooper era. So
I'm okay with it. Because I think that Rose Bowl when he was a sophomore might be third-year sophomore. I remember when he transferred in, he was like a JUCO transfer. I remember seeing him warming up on the sidelines the year he was sitting out. He sat out. He played 1 year JUCO ball. Then he transferred to Ohio State and redshirted. He didn't even have to because he was JUCO. I remember who's this Joe Germain guy over here? Mm-hmm. This would have been during the '95 season when Hoying had his great year, and then of course Joe Germain. Finally taken over in 98 as the full-time starter, had a huge year. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So, and again, that 98 season, he set the then school record with over 3,300 passing yards. So, yep, Joe Germain was our all Cooper team quarterback.
I do think Hoying was the Davey O'Brien Award winner in 95. Like that year was crazy with Eddie winning the Heisman, Terry Glenn winning the Biletnikoff, and Hoying, if he didn't win the Davey O'Brien, was like one of the top candidates for best quarterback in college football that year. That was a crazy team.
Can you guess the running back?
Can I guess the running back? Did I just mention him? I'm going to go with Pepe Pearson. No, Eddie George.
I did love Pepe Pearson.
I like Pepe Pearson, too. That's no knock on Pepe.
No. And how about this? Robert Smith would be your running back, too. That'd be pretty solid.
That's good business.
But, yeah, Eddie George, obviously, the starting running back. Now, this is where we had a little bit of debate. Now, again, we only took 2 wide receivers. When we were putting this together, and in hindsight, you're probably going to want to take 3.
Well, in the Cooper era, they usually only had 2. So you took Jeff Graham and Bobby Olive?
Yeah.
No? Oh.
We decided on Joey Galloway was going to be 1 for sure.
I agree with that. Can you imagine Joey Galloway in these modern day, Ryan Day offenses? Look out. I mean, they were a running team, and he's out there catching 3 touchdown passes against Michigan State one game.
And then the debate, Dave, and you can help us settle it.
Okay.
I went with Terry Glenn, and Ryan went with David Boston. And look, love both. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer on this one. Then we looked at the NFL draft. They both were top 10 picks, so there wasn't a huge difference there. I went with Terry Glenn because of his single, unbelievable Biletnikoff winning 95 season and 2 plays that stand out to me. The one against Notre Dame, where he went for the long touchdown during the Regis Philbin interview. And then also at Minnesota when he laid out for one of the most incredible catches I've ever seen, and he landed on the Metrodome turf before bouncing 5 yards back up in the air.
I was going to say, it did. It looked like it did look like he bounced 5 yards up. He might have. I agree with Terry Glenn. It is close. I can see how you can make an argument for David Boston, so I see where Bake's coming from, but I would give it to Terry Glenn, that Biletnikoff season. Just put it over the top, and you know what? I mean, he had to sit out a year because Prop 48 was still a thing then, and then didn't play that much his second year, and then he just, man, that Biletnikoff year, he was so darn good. Yeah, I would go Terry Glenn.
Okay, tight end position was easy because, again, this guy ended up being a top 10 NFL pick. Now, he didn't pan out in the NFL.
Picked ahead of Eddie George, no less.
Right. Ricky Dudley.
Yes.
Ricky Dudley. So he was our all John Cooper tight end. Now, offensive line, which is absolutely loaded. We went Corey Stringer.
Yep.
Orlando Pace, Rob Murphy, Juan Porter, and LaCharles Bentley. That's our front line.
And
you could also argue there was, a little bit of chatter about Tyson Walter.
I was just about to joke about that. I mean, about the LaCharles Bentley, Tyson Walter situation, right?
Yeah,
and then Tress had to take over and try and mend fences with those guys still on the team when Tyson Walter was suing LaCharles Bentley for rearranging his face. Not a guy you want to fight, LaCharles Bentley. Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. I mean, LaCharles' best year was the first year of the Tressel era, but he was also very good in 99 and 2000. So I like having LaChuck on there. You guys did a good job.
I'm actually excited for you to settle our defensive line question. So Big Daddy, Dan Wilkinson, lock.
Number 1 overall pick, yep.
Number 1 overall pick. We went with Mike Vrabel and Matt Finkus on the ends. And then we kind of went back and forth on Alonzo Spellman and Luke Fickell.
Oh, geez. My goodness gracious.
That was kind of the fourth that we were debating.
But that Fickell, Finkus, Vrabel.
I know.
If you're going to put them all on there, that's
can't
interesting.
break that up, right?
Who were some other options for defensive end? I know Jason Simmons had a big year. And
Rodney Bailey was good.
I'm trying to think of some other DNs from the Cooper era.
So Will Smith
definitely Vrabel
kind of is more of the Tressel.
Yeah, because Will Smith.
Ryan Pickett is another defensive tackle.
Ryan Pickett was pretty darn good.
So it really came down to Fickell or Spellman.
And then I'm curious to hear the linebackers and the defensive backs as well. We'll get to that next on The Money.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment, facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse house simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kandula, founder of Advent. We know that when you breathe well, you live better. Just ask our patient Andy.
As long as I can remember, I've had issues breathing through my nose. Since starting this journey and having this procedure done, day-to-day life has just gotten better. I'm able to do all the things that I want to do without having to think about breathing. I breathe through my nose. I sleep through the night. I don't wake up with headaches.
Advent can deliver long-term results in about 20 minutes with simple in-office procedures. We diagnose and treat the root cause of nasal congestion, sinus pressure, sleep apnea, snoring, and allergies. 96% of patients with severe nasal breathing issues report improvement, and most major insurance plans are accepted.
Best advice I can give anybody that has sinus, sleep issues, just get it checked out. Go in and have someone take a look at it. It's 100% worth it.
On this episode of Science Stuff, we're examining the fastest things on the planet, like the cheetah. It can reach a land speed of over... probably having an off day happens to everybody, but here is the American race car. People love the thrill of the... Okay. Next up is the Falcon. No, all right. Oh, Great Caesar's ghost, what was that? Why, I think we've found the fastest... Let's watch in slow motion.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex.
It's Apex Pros, the pros who knows. They're the fastest thing on the planet. When you have a problem with your plumbing, furnace, air conditioner, or electrical system, Apex Pros gets to you faster than apparently everything. Leaves are blown from trees. Paint is stripped from buildings. Mothers clutch their children's hands. Because when you have something broken in your plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, you don't want to wait.
Columbus loves Apex Pros. ApexPros.com.
Nothing annoys me more than wasting time. Scotty Vegas here, and I want to be golfing or playing tennis or betting on people golfing and playing tennis. I hate waiting on an oil change, but that's all changed. Krieger Ford, the car buying experience was amazing. The service, just as good. I left my Bronco in the driveway and easily scheduled an oil change at KriegerFord.com, and they even came right to me and changed it. All game changer, the Krieger Ford experience. Experience it at KriegerFord.com.
Save big money on ideal garage doors. Now at Menards. Replacing your garage door adds instant curb appeal and value to your home. It's the #1 home improvement project for return on investment. From traditional to modern styles, choose from our huge in-stock selection or design your own garage door in-store or on Menards.com. Plus, don't forget to view the weekly flyer and check out all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
State Fair food is getting smaller and pricier.
We'll have room for fried cookies.
Okay, you never overspend on food. What's your deal?
What's his deal? He went to Metro and got $450 in value on the new Samsung Galaxy A37 5G for free and no activation fees.
Free phone? Oh, sign me up.
Get that more for your money feeling. Only on Metro by T-Mobile.
Bring your number and activate $40 period plan. $450 based on device discount, waived activation fee. Not available if with Metro T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Lots of sunshine for your Sunday afternoon with highs right around 90 degrees. And there'll be a nice breeze carrying us through the rest of the afternoon into the evening hours. Lots of sunshine today, not too many clouds out there, but tonight we do have a chance of seeing some isolated showers build overnight into Monday morning. We do have a chance of those becoming strong to severe. Rain chances continue Monday through Wednesday of next week. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist, Lily Aldrich, with 97.1 The Fan.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No? The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Scotty Vegas can't even pronounce most of the names of the tennis players he bets on. He doesn't care, as long as they win. You're listening to On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
I actually have a week 1 college football bet that I absolutely love and have hammered over the last couple days.
Yes.
And we are going to get into that later on in this hour. But I want to go through the reasoning of it because I placed a significant amount on it. And I want to get your guys' take and kind of get the listeners' input as well. And this is a big this or that segment, too. And I want people to kind of react to this as far as Bo Jackson versus Isaiah West rushing yards this year. We'll get into that.
You're stealing one of mine. Which
Oh,
is
no.
great. I mean, it is kind of low-hanging fruit. Yeah, when I saw you promoted this, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that I told you what was one of mine. Then I saw you said one of mine. I mean, this is Scott in our chat saying one of mine's going to be who's going to lead the team in rushing, Isaiah West or Bo Jackson. No worries. I have others I can pivot to.
Okay, and feel free to absolutely give your opinions in the YouTube chat. Play along with us. We'll get into that in just a minute. But we've been going over the all John Cooper Ohio State team, and we've gotten now down to the defense and
linebackers. Okay, back 7. So my guess at linebacker, so Katzenmoyer's got to be on there.
Absolutely.
Steve Tovar.
So he went Tovar. I went Niall Diggs.
Okay, I went. There's 3 linebackers,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
I went. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Like I'm sure I am now that I think about it. The 3 I wrote down were Katzenmoyer, Tovar, and Niall Diggs.
Okay, Lorenzo Styles.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
He was also
a second
on
round.
our list.
Yeah, but it would then come down to me. It would come down to Diggs or Styles.
We gave a
Diggs
little
was
tiebreaker
so good
for
in
having such a
2000.
great son.
Having two
great sons. Yeah. And then so also names that we threw out there: Ryan Miller, Greg Belisari,
maybe, but not Ryan Miller. Ryan Miller, great guy, but no.
Yeah.
No.
So those are the names we threw out there. But Katzenmoyer, Tovar, and Diggs.
Tovar
and
was like
Styles
the bright spot on
were the
some
4.
bad defenses. He was out there. Big neck roll. I love Steve Tovar. All right, DBs. So
this is easy.
Corners have to be Sean Springs and Antoine Winfield,
Yes.
or I'm starting a riot. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. We didn't even debate.
Listen, Nate Clements was a first-round pick. Ahmed Plummer was a first-round pick. They had a bunch of good DBs during that era, but there's no doubt Sean Springs,
Ty
Antoine
Howard.
Winfield. Ty Howard. Ty Howard started over Antoine Winfield when Ty Howard was a senior and Antoine Winfield was a sophomore. That defensive backfield was loaded. Speaking of that one, I'm going with the safety tandem from
Rob Kelly, Damon Moore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From the 96. That was the first year of the Silver Bullets. Damon Moore and Rob Kelly and Sean Springs.
We also brought up Gary Berry as someone to consider there as well. So,
and I know Mike Doss began his career with Cooper Air, but
we have him on the
consider
Trestle team.
Yeah, he's a Trestle guy. I mean, Rob Kelly was a second-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know.
You know, well, I go Damon Moore, Rob Kelly. All right.
In Speed Skis, and I love this. He in our YouTube chat says, "Love the big cat." And gosh, if you were to ask, all right, one player to represent the John Cooper era, and I think you probably ultimately have to go Orlando Pace or Eddie George. But for me, too, when I was a kid, Andy Katzenmoyer and that big 45 on the shoulder pads, and thinking back to that picture of him in the helmet visor and the Minnesota quarterback, I want to say it was like Colby Jones or something like that,
yeah.
And the whole Missouri team in that visor. That's one of my favorite pictures of all time.
Definitely. And then, speaking of the Cooper era, my favorite picture of all time might be Eddie George, where it looks like he's running away from the entire Notre Dame defense in that 95 game. Yeah, it would have to be Orlando Pace or Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, Orlando was the last Ohio State player to go number 1 overall. Eddie won the Heisman. But yeah, I mean, Katzenmoyer is right up there as well. All right, let's do some this or that. Hit it, Isaiah.
Steve and Scotty are parlaying both. Time for this or that.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Locally inspired dishes and award-winning cocktails. Visit highbankco.com today. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Well, that sounds good right now. Though I don't know if Fish would want us drinking one of the smoked old-fashioned that we love, like on the air. We'd have to probably wait till after the show to do that, but the wings sound good as well. They do a great job over there. All right, this or that. You guys getting with old? No, I'm kidding.
You gonna steal mine?
You getting with an old-fashioned on the air or waiting till the show is over? No, I don't want to get fired.
On the air.
I don't want to get fired. All right, I'm going to pivot here. Okay, you guys getting with Brandon Ennis will be second on the team in receiving yards this year, or are you getting with Devin McEwen will be second on the team in receiving yards this year?
You know what's funny?
Are we just stealing each other's stuff
We're just
here?
stealing. We're all just stealing around.
That was my question number 2. My question 1 was going to be the running backs.
We had the exact same 2 questions.
You're ridiculous. Okay.
I thought he was going to say something else there. Like, you're a.
I will go and I know there's so much excitement because of how good he's looked over the last couple of days. I'm still going to go Brandon Ennis, I think, for receiving yards. And look, I think Chris Henry Jr. is going to be right there too. I think I'm looking at him yesterday. Again, just doing eye test, watching the practice field and watching Chris Henry Jr. and now watching him stretch out and watching him like make some unbelievable plays. I'm still going to go with the leadership and Brandon Ennis because he's been in this offense. He's got the rapport with Julian Saints. So I will go with Ennis, but man, is it close.
Yeah, and Chris Henry Jr. is going to play a lot, but like it's just, unless you're Jeremiah Smith, I mean, it's tough to play a lot as a true freshman wide receiver at Ohio State. I mean, in 2023, Carnell Tate caught 18 balls all season. 18 balls. He ends up being the number 4 overall pick of the draft, first wide receiver off the board. And he was good. It's just the way it works out. I think Chris Henry Jr. is going to catch more than that. What I'm seeing Adam McEwen being a senior, Ennis being a senior, I think it's going to come down to those two. And I was saying all offseason it was going to be Ennis. I've changed my mind. I still think he's going to have a good year. But I'm going with Devin McEwen will be second on this team in receiving yards.
My outlook on this wide receiver core over the past 3 days has changed mightily because we were even talking about a week ago or 2 weeks ago about how if Brandon Ennis will be able to just hold off everyone and become the wide receiver 2 that Carnell Tate was. And now I've completely flipped after seeing them at practice. I think that this season, Devin McEwen will have more receiving yards than Brandon Ennis. He looked explosive. Super twitchy, over the top, was constantly making big plays. He looked super impressive the past 3 days. The second day of camp, when we were inside of the dome because there was some thunder and lightning outside, he was very, very impressive. He looked great. So I'm going to go with Devin McEwen, but I still think there is a role for Brandon Ennis in the offense. I just think that McEwen looked really good.
Quick question. Was this receptions or was this receiving yards?
I said yards.
Okay.
I said yards.
I think I would agree. Maybe McEwen on the yards. I actually still think the receptions might go to Ennis.
And my friends, Brock Boyd is not going to have a ton of catches this year. Hence, the true freshman. Unless you're Jeremiah Smith, you don't have a huge year as a true freshman at Ohio State. Brock Boyd's going to play though.
Yeah,
he catches everything. Yeah. I love him. I can see why he gets so much love from the coaches and his teammates. All right, go ahead.
Let's talk running backs.
Yeah, baby.
Who ends the season with more rushing yards? Is it Isaiah West or is it Bo Jackson?
If you asked me this a week ago, I would have been very confident and saying Bo Jackson. And I think Bo looks good out there. He was really good as a freshman last year. He's going to be better this year. I think he looks good out there. But Isaiah West looked like his physique looks like perfect. Like he's up to from 210-ish to 222, chiseled out of granite. They say he's quicker and you can see it. He's quick through the hole. He runs violently. I can't believe I'm saying this because I really thought Bo, had a good year last year and is going to have a good year this year. And it looks like Isaiah right now is a little bit ahead of him in the pecking order when they do and it's early in camp. Short story long, I'm getting with Isaiah West.
Yeah, and again, the most important thing is you're going to need both, and you might even need 3 or 4 running backs this year with how long the season is. I will go with Bo Jackson just because I keep thinking back to last year, and I think maybe there might be a slight overreaction on what we've seen for the first couple days, so I'll go Bo Jackson.
I'm split on this. I think that they're both going to get a ton of carries this season. I really liked Bo last year. I think Dave hit the nail on the head when he said that Isaiah West runs violently. And that was the first thing I thought when I was thinking back to his runs last season was he just ran angry in the hole. And I loved the reps that he got last year. He looked really good every time he toted the rock. So I'm going to go with Isaiah West, but I do think that both of them are going to get tons of carries this season.
We got to take a quick 2-minute timeout. Then we're going to get to Isaiah's This or That. That's coming up next on The Money.
Everybody thinks they're a great driver. Outlaw Motor Speedway gives you the chance to prove it. Experience professional racing simulators, full motion rigs, and some of the world's iconic tracks right here in Grandview. Race your friends, join a league, or bring the office out for an unforgettable corporate event. And when the checkered flag drops, keep the night going with great food and drinks here or next door at Agave and Rye. Then climb back in the driver's seat and see who's got what it takes. Book your race today at outlawsimracing.com.
Common Man and Timmy here for our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Mikey, there's so much fun this month. It's just fantastic.
We've got Sun-Kissed Summer Saturday drawings where you can win up to $500 in pen cash, plus all-you-can-eat crab legs still going on.
You mean the Canadian snow crab legs, corn on the cob, and Hawaiian rolls every Tuesday?
Of course. Plus the last Saturday in the month, play the Queen's Gamble for a chance to win up to $5,000 in pen cash.
5,000? Must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Jerry, I've made a decision.
Aaron, are you giving away free services again?
Well, yeah. How did you know?
Well, I haven't been able to quit thinking about your AC piggy bank.
Get Eco.
ECO. We work to extend the life of their old air conditioner and then give back all the money we were paid to do it.
Up to $1,500.
When they need to buy a new system.
Jerry, I'm getting ready to do something like that again.
Get Eco.
ECO.
When we replace a water heater, I'm instructing all the Eco plumbers to give our customers up to $500 in free repairs before they leave the house.
$500 in free services that same day?
There's lots and lots and lots of things our plumbers can do for $500 or less.
And Eco is going to do these things for free when people buy a water heater?
Yeah, whatever they want for free.
That same day?
Same day.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and gonna make you cool again, HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. If you can't find something to bet on, you're not trying hard enough. You're listening to On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Welcome back to On the Money. Dave Biddle, Scotty Vegas, Isaiah Jacob. Now let's kick it to Isaiah for his This or That. The floor is yours, sir.
So I was scrolling Twitter earlier, and I found this list, and it was every college football team's big brother. And so how they described that was every program has another program that they're trying to catch or they look up to. And then they listed them out. And Ohio State was listed as a couple teams' big brothers. And so I want you guys, when you think of who's Ohio State's little brother, we're going to figure out who it actually is. Because we were listed as Cincinnati's big brother. We were also listed as Penn State's big brother. So are you guys getting with Cincinnati, Penn State? Is there another team that you think of when you think of who Ohio State's little brother would be considered? Which one are you guys getting with?
I think those are perfect. If you made me pick between the two, I'd have to think about it because you have the in-state that doesn't really get a lot of love. They're finally a Power 4 team, kind of. Bottom of the Big 12, but still technically a Power 4 team. And there was a lot of strife between Ohio State and Cincinnati over the years with basketball. They've mended those fences. But then Penn State, Ohio State, I know Penn State won a decent, not really a decent amount. They won a handful of games during that 30 years that they played, every year. But Ohio State dominated them for the most part. That's a real good one. I like those two. I can't think of a third. I'd love to say Michigan, but you got to be real. I mean, even though a lot of the wins were pre-World War I, they do hold the all-time series leader over Ohio State, so you can't really say Michigan. Maybe Michigan this century. But I think Penn State and Cincinnati are good ones.
I do think that they are good. I'll throw out there the Ohio Bobcats a little bit, and I say that because I feel like your brother you still really like, you respect, your friends, but they look up to you a little bit. So like Ohio Bobcats would be kind of like the little brother to in Ohio State, the big brother. And I think about that just like, when they come to play, it's like you just like as a Bobcat, you like a close game, that kind of thing. But I like the argument of Penn State because I was down in Orlando during the wintertime, right around the Super Bowl time. And I met someone who's actually a weatherman at the TV station down in Orlando. And he is a huge Penn State fan. Like he went to Penn State. He goes back for multiple games every year. And we were talking and he's like, the team that I hate the most is Ohio State because whatever happens, you guys always seem to come away with the victory. Like it's so frustrating. And so, we were kind of having a chuckle about it. And it does kind of feel like Penn State is kind of like the little brother to Ohio State. So I'll go Penn State.
I think these two are both really good because when I think about like the little brother program, that's a program that whenever they are good, what's the very first thing they're saying? Oh, we could get Ohio State. And a couple years ago when Cincinnati made the college ball playoff, my brother was at UC. And so I went down there for some of the games. And everybody, the top of their mind was Cincinnati's better than Ohio State. And they were saying that over and over and over again. I was wearing my Buckeye gear, so everybody was chirping at me. UC, they've surpassed Ohio State. And I even think back to like the earlier 2000s when UC had some good seasons with even Marty Gilliard back in the day. And it was always Ohio State and UC need to play. And so that just gave me like little brother vibes of as soon as they get good, they want the big dog. And Penn State does that sometimes too, but I'm close to Cincinnati just because my brother went there and I've been down there a lot recently. And so I'm going to say the Bearcats are trying to nip at the feet, nip at the heels of the Buckeyes.
Now I'm curious who they listed as Ohio State's big brother, or Ohio State's a little brother too. And I'm guessing it's like in Alabama because Alabama has more national champions. They're the only one that has more national championships than Ohio State this century. Or don't even tell me it's Michigan.
It's Michigan.
What?
Oh, that's ridiculous.
That's the dumbest article I've ever.
If you're focused on the pre-World War I era, like I said earlier, that's doable. But I mean, it's in our lifetimes. Whatever year you were born in, if you're listening to this show, Ohio State has a winning record over Michigan in your lifetime. And the younger you are, the better it gets. And
national championships.
It's ridiculous to say Michigan's Ohio State's like older brother. Who wrote this story? He's trash.
This is it's an article from...
And the editor who let it come out is garbage.
Unless it's from CBS.
Yes, it wasn't CBS.
Okay, good.
There was only a couple programs that didn't have a big brother.
Absolute trash.
Alabama, Michigan, Miami. Those were some of the ones that didn't have a big brother.
Trash.
You're right, trash. That's absolute trash.
And the editor who let it come out is garbage.
It's garbage. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even a Michigan fan, we should have our guy Justin Smoosh in here he could tell us. Like, do you really consider like Ohio State your little brother? Because I know they consider
Michigan State. I get that.
I think even a Michigan fan being real with themselves, like, no, in my lifetime, Ohio State has a better record over Michigan. But hey, they do have the all-time lead thanks to their pre-World War I era of dominance. This is getting me all hot under the collar now.
This took a turn.
You shouldn't have asked that question, Dave. I knew you were going to.
All right, what's your next one?
Oh, my next one. You're going to hibachi today.
Yep.
And you said you were going to order steak and shrimp, maybe throw in the scallops.
And it's the filet. I got to go with the filet, not the sirloin when I do the steak.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to go a year without either steak or seafood. Which one are you saying, okay, I could go a year without?
Oh, geez. I would go a year without steak just because there's so much different seafood that I love. Like, I like salmon, I like shrimp, I like crab, I like lobster, I like just like regular fish, like tilapia. It'd be really, 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 really hard to give up steak for a year, but it'd also be hard to give up like seafood for a year. Man, that's a tough. I could probably.
What if I said red meat or seafood?
I would probably give up seafood then if that was the. Yeah.
All right, but you're saying you're giving up steak for a year.
Gosh, that's a tough one.
Including that Hollywood casino steak that we get at watch parties.
It's a good steak, but they also have some good salmon out there too. They've got some good fish and chips out there. How you like that? And they got crab legs. All you can eat crab legs.
That's true, which we haven't done yet, which we need to do.
We got to go. I mean,
soon.
Tuesday. This Tuesday.
All
yeah,
right. I could be talked into that.
All right. Maybe we'll do that. All right.
I think I'm getting with, I'd give up seafood. I eat steak all the time. And when I go to Chipotle, I get steak. And I routinely make steak burritos pretty often. And when I went to Texas Longhorn this past weekend, or Texas Roadhouse, sorry, and got a steak. So I think I like shrimp a lot, but I'm getting with I'd be giving up seafood.
I'd be eating a lot more ribs when I go to places like, because I'm always debating this. Last time I cheated, I got like the steak and the ribs. They just give you like a little bit of rib. They don't even give you a half rack of ribs when you do that. So if I had to give up steak for a year, oh man, I'd be getting a lot of like ribs. Seafood.
You're giving up cheesesteak subs. You're giving up all that.
Right.
I couldn't. I could not go a year without steak. I think I could get by a year without.
You're not as big of a seafood fan as I am.
But I love seafood. I had fish last night that I loved.
Yeah. Man, that would be tough.
It's a toughie.
That's
why it's a good this or that.
That's a great one. That's a great one. Yeah. All right.
You got another one for us?
No, I'm
Isaiah,
out.
you got another one?
I can give one more for us.
All
right. After the season ends, which coordinator will we praise more? Arthur Smith or Matt Patricia?
I'm saying Arthur Smith just because I think the improvement of the offense is going to be vast. They weren't a bad offense last year. They were like 30th in the country in total, somewhere around there, 30th in the country. I think they're going to be a top 10 offense even with this schedule, and people are going to realize what a jump they made. And another thing, I think the defense is going to be really good again despite the losses. I don't think they're going to be the number one defense in the country. But Buckeye fans already know 100% that they love Matt Patricia, and he's the man. Even the people that might have been a little skeptical about it, and there were more than a few that were skeptical. I think everybody's on board now. I think there are still some, I see it on Bucknuts. Some people are wondering, is Arthur Smith really going to be the big upgrade that people say he's going to be? And I think he will be. So it's because there's some lingering questions from Buckeye Nation about Arthur Smith. I think we're going to look back on Buckeye fans giving him the most love because they've already given so much love to Patricia.
All of that makes a ton of sense to me, but I'm going to go the other way. And the reason why is because I think we all expect this offense to be a top 3, top 5 offense in the country. Like, the weapons are ridiculous. I also think if the offense is crazy successful, some of that credit also will go to Ryan Day. Now, if the defense is awesome, then you're looking at it and you're like, well, we didn't have the high expectations for the defense because of how many guys that were lost to the NFL. And if the defense is great, all of the credit will go to Patricia and Laurinaitis. So I'm going to go with, at the end of the year, Matt Patricia will get the most praise.
This is such a tough one because I see both sides of this. Obviously, the leaving of all the players for Patricia, him having to rebuild this defense a little bit, and if he has a great season, it's going to look awesome. Obviously, everyone loves offense, so if Arthur Smith puts together one of the best offenses in the college football landscape, then we're going to love the hire. I think it's going to be Arthur Smith. And I think it's going to be because of the run game. I think he's going to figure out the run schemes this year. Last year, that was the biggest question mark. Throughout a big portion of the season, we were talking about the run game and the red zone.
And
those are two things that I think he is going to be really good at this season. Towards the end of the year, we started to figure out the run game a little bit, but that was mainly against UCLA and Rutgers and some of the lesser opponents. So I'm going to lean Arthur Smith, but I think Patricia, if he figures out this defense, he'll get a lot of praise too.
One other question I have for you, Dave, watching the last few days of practice, I noticed that they were working on a decent amount of play action. And I'm curious if there's other things that you noticed Ohio State working on under the Arthur Smith offense for this year versus what Ohio State would kind of be working on in camps last year.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was told the previous week at Big Ten meetings, Big Ten media days, hey, one of the wrinkles is going to be, they're going to be under center more. They're still going to be in the shotgun a lot, but they're going to be under center more, and they're trying to incorporate a lot more play action. And we saw that the first 3 days. I think Julian's probably his best. Julian had a really good day, I thought, when they went indoors on Friday, and his best throw of the day was that one McEwen. He ended up juggling it down the middle, but it was a play action from under center. I asked Julian about that yesterday. He gave a very diplomatic response because they don't want to give away their secrets. So I'm like, you guys working more under center this year, more play action? He kind of was like, yeah, we're doing a little bit of everything,
A little bit of this or that.
Yeah, a little bit of this or that. So, but that's one wrinkle for sure. And that's not a huge wrinkle, but it's just something they didn't do a lot last year. Under center play action. And obviously they're going to be running the ball a lot, under center, or the play action wouldn't work. So that's one wrinkle we're going to see. And I completely agree with Isaiah that Arthur Smith is going to help them make a big jump in short yardage, red zone. They were one of the best teams in the nation in 2024 in red zone efficiency, scoring touchdowns in the red zone, fourth down conversions, third down conversions, just short yardage in general, one of the best. One of the worst in the country last year. So I think Arthur Smith is going to get them back to good there. One more quick one for you guys before we take a break. This is a this, that, or the other, or other, or other, or other. Okay, you guys getting with what is the biggest story of camp so far through the first 3 days? Is it Isaiah West making it a legit competition for RB1, maybe even being a little ahead of Bo? Is it Devin McEwen doing his thing? Is it maybe the Legend Bay, was suspended for the first 2 days or missed the first 2 days of practice? Is it Jay Timmons getting some run with the first team? Of those, what's the biggest story?
I think for me, ultimately, it's Isaiah West. And I think you could make all four of those that you brought up, I think are legit, and they're all storylines that are very interesting to me. I just feel like for a team to win the national championship, they have to have two really, really good running backs. And now feeling like that was a question mark, I felt like maybe a month ago, is how good is the Ohio State running game going to be, and how good are their running backs going to be? And now just seeing with our eyes these last few days and seeing what Isaiah West looks like, and knowing the season that Bo Jackson had last year and the confidence that I think we can have in the running game, I think that's the story of the first 3 days for me.
Yeah, if this is the old days and McEwen just got here in June and we didn't see him in spring and he's doing what he's doing, I'd be like, wow. But not that he looked, was doing this quite that well in spring, but he looked really good to me in the spring. So I'm not shocked with what's going on with McEwen, but I'm pretty shocked we're sitting here talking about a legit running back one competition. I think it's great for Ohio State because Bo Jackson doesn't look bad. Isaiah's just taking his game to the next level. I'll agree with Scotty. I'll say Isaiah West is the biggest story through the first 3 games or first 3 days of practice.
I think it's close, but I'm also going to lean the Isaiah West story just because I think a lot over the summertime when we would talk about the running back room, there was multiple accounts of people thinking that Bo was going to be a bell cow. And like Isaiah, he would get some run, but that we were really going to lean into Bo after this past season. And it feels like now, and even if Bo still is the lead back, they're definitely going to work out a role for Isaiah West. I'm excited about that running back room. Kind of in general, too, seeing Legend Bay on the final day, he looks awesome. Like I hadn't seen him at all this spring, so seeing him yesterday was great. He looks awesome. He kind of looks like the old Urban Meyer H-back, kind of looks like a Curtis Samuel, Dontre Wilson, Jalen Marshall guy. And so I think with Arthur Smith, maybe they're able to utilize him on some swing passes, get him out on the edge. He's a smaller guy, but he looks electric.
I am excited about Legend Bay, but to be honest with you, as far as the storylines go, like missing the first 2 days sucks, but I don't think in a week or 3 weeks we're going to remember that at all.
Right.
So while it was a big story those first 2 days, I don't think it's going to linger or matter.
I agree. I'm also excited for Best Bets. That's up next on The Money.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
State Fair food is getting smaller and pricier.
We'll have room for fried cookies.
Okay, you never overspend on food. What's your deal?
What's his deal? He went to Metro and got $450 in value on the new Samsung Galaxy A37 5G for free and no activation fees.
Free phone? Oh, sign me up.
Get that more for your money feeling. Only on Metro by T-Mobile.
Bring your number and activate $40 period plan. $450 based on device discount, waived activation fee. Not available if with Metro T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible, but Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the Columbus community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Getting a speeding ticket can ruin your day. But what about that cyclist or the pedestrian crossing the street? If you hit them while speeding, you'll do more than just ruin their days. That's why tickets are more than just a fine. They're a second chance. A reminder of what's on the line when you're behind the wheel. You won't get a do-over every time. So take this as your sign to follow the speed limit every drive. Speeding slows you down. Paid for by NHTSA.
It's likely you've made peace with the congestion that greets you every morning. The snoring your partner stopped mentioning. It feels unfixable, but it isn't. For most, it's a nasal breathing problem that's treatable for good.
I'm Dr. Kandula, founder of Advent. Advent can deliver long-term results in about 20 minutes with simple in-office procedures. We diagnose and treat the root cause of nasal congestion, sinus pressure, sleep apnea, snoring, and allergies. 96% of patients with severe nasal breathing issues report improvement, and most major insurance plans are accepted.
Wake up and smell the life you've been missing. The family picnic, the run by the lake, the fresh cut grass. Breathe deep, sleep through the night, and step into every day sharper and more present. It's time for a new beginning. It's the advent of your best life.
One bite in, you'll be saying, that's hot as fire. Speedway's new Hottest Fire Chicken Sandwich turns up the temp. Eat the heat for $4.99 only at Speedway. Valid through 8/25/26. Participating stores. Exclude Speedy Cafe. See app for full terms.
Common Man and Bob Capace here. So, Bob, you got this ring builder thing on your website.
Yep, you pick the diamond, the setting, customize your own engagement ring before you even come in this store.
I actually tried it.
You did?
It was ridiculously easy.
See, if Common Man can build a perfect ring online,
anybody can, because I'm dumb.
Then book an appointment and we'll help make it exactly the way you designed it.
That's why I always tell people, I know a guy. You too can design your own engagement ring with the ring builder at worthingtonjewelers.com. If I can do it, anyone can.
Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Save big money at Menards. Menards is your paint destination, offering the selection you need to refresh your home in one weekend. Pristine exterior paint is Dutch Boy's most durable solution for all-weather protection. With its rain rinse technology, water naturally rinses away dirt and grime. Plus, it resists cracking and peeling. Save big money on pristine exterior paint. Plus, view our weekly flyer on Menards.com and start your painting project today.
Save big money at Menards.
Nothing annoys me more than wasting time. Scotty Vegas here, and I want to be golfing or playing tennis or betting on people golfing and playing tennis. I hate waiting on an oil change, but that's all changed. Krieger Ford, the car buying experience was amazing. The service, just as good. I left my Bronco in the driveway and easily scheduled an oil change at KriegerFord.com, and they even came right to me and changed it. All game changer, the Krieger Ford experience. Experience it at KriegerFord.com.
When your furnace or air conditioner stops working, you can always rely on Atlas Butler to get it up and running the same day. So why not depend on Atlas Butler for all your plumbing needs? One call does it all.
Call 1-800-FURNACE.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no! Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas both think they're right. Chances are they're both wrong. On the Money presents Best Bets.
Sponsored by Krieger Ford, your best bet for a new car or truck. Visit Krieger Ford on Morse Road today or go online at KriegerFord.com.
Oh, have I been opening up my app and placing a lot of bets lately, kind of getting ready for this college football season. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a bet that really caught my attention over the last few days, and I've kind of been aggressive with it. And I want to talk through it with you guys, see if you are on the same side or if you're like, hey, this is a little aggressive. Maybe back out a little bit on some of this. But We were talking about week one bets, and you look at most of the week one spreads, and there's a lot of huge numbers. You know, you think at the Ohio State-Ball State game, that's 50.5, and there's a lot of big mismatches in week one. But one of the ones that I think is kind of interesting is Wisconsin and Notre Dame. And Notre Dame is a co-favorite to win the national championship this year. And we know it's Luke Fickell versus Marcus Freeman. And the spread on that game, by the way, that game is being played in Lambeau. Okay, so it's going to be played in Wisconsin. But you know there's going to be a lot of Notre Dame fans that travel and go to that one. So my guess is even in Wisconsin, at Lambeau, it'll probably be close to a 50-50 crowd split because Notre Dame will travel. But 20.5, I think that this is a Wisconsin team that's going to be significantly improved this year. Now, look, when we were doing our Big Ten predictions, we had them middle of the pack of the Big Ten. But thinking about it, Notre Dame has had their struggles early in the season the last couple years under Marcus Freeman. We think back to their loss to Northern Illinois, to Marshall. They've had games where they have not looked good early. The other thing is, I look at week one, and I think sometimes teams just want to get through and win that game. They don't necessarily need to, pile it on. You have the Luke Fickell, Marcus Freeman connection. I just feel like 20.5 is a lot. This is a huge year for Wisconsin. This is a huge year for Luke Fickell. Again, this is week one of the season. I think there's so much trending towards taking the plus 20.5 for Wisconsin that I have that one circled for week one. So that's a best bet that I've made. I'm curious, your guys, what do you think about the reasoning on that bet?
I like it a lot. And as you mentioned, I might kick it up to 21.5, by that point. I like it because I do think Notre Dame's going to win that game, but they have struggled early in the year. They're getting a lot of love, and rightfully so. I understand why. But Wisconsin started to figure it out toward the end of the year. I like the quarterback they brought. I think Luke finally, hopefully this guy doesn't get hurt. Luke will finally have a quarterback for the first time since he's been there. His name's Colton Joseph. He can run the ball. He rushed for over 1,000 yards coming from Old Dominion. I know Old Dominion, but he was the conference player of the year. I think that was a good get in the portal for them. And I think they're going to keep it relatively close. Again, a running quarterback, play some Wisconsin football. I see Notre Dame winning that game by, 10 or 14, maybe even more than that. But I like the plus 21.5 Wisconsin.
Yeah.
By that extra point.
Yeah, that makes sense to me to buy the point. Now, this far in advance, it's not letting you move the line for the most part. Most books won't let you move the line until you get kind of a week out. But that's the look-ahead line, 20.5. So that's kind of my thought on best bet. The other one I had was Penn State to make the playoffs this year. Look, in our rankings, I had them as the fourth Big Ten team. They're 7-1 to make the playoffs. Isaiah, your thoughts on those two?
I like the Penn State bet. 7-1's good odds. Their schedule's is pretty easy if they're able to win the games they're supposed to. And I think the Matt Campbell bringing over a lot of guys from Iowa State. Obviously, he brings over his quarterback. That's a big piece of it. So I think, odds-wise, that one works well. Wisconsin, 3-0 under Fickell to start the year. I think week one defenses are always ahead, so the spread should be tighter. Offenses usually struggle in the first couple weeks. The defenses play better. And Fickell, although he struggled, he's been good in week one. And I think that's about preparation. And clearly he's had his teams prepared. So a lot of times the pregame jitters, too, in week one can make games a little bit more unlikely to get the offense rolling early.
And I like looking at win totals in the Big Ten. I like Nebraska over 6.5. I don't think they're going to be that good or anything this year, but their schedule's manageable. They do have to play Ohio State. They host Ohio State the week before the Michigan game. But overall, their schedule's very manageable. They don't play anybody tough in the non-conference. They play some teams in the Big Ten that are supposed to be at the back of the Big Ten. I see at least 6 wins for them that should be easy, and they just got to get one more. And they'll be favored in some of those games. So I think 7-5 for Nebraska. I like that a lot.
Take a peek at Minnesota, too. Yeah. I think over 5.5 wins for Minnesota makes a ton of sense based on their schedule.
It might have kicked up by now.
Is it 6.5?
I think it's 6.5 now.
And I like that one.
And we got another 45 minutes for you guys on the show.
Bonus!
The show is so good. We're doing an extra 45 minutes. Stick around. This is On the Money.
We are for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
On this episode of Science Stuff, we're examining the fastest things on the planet, like the cheetah. It can reach a land speed of over... probably having an off day happens to everybody, but here is the American race car. People love the thrill of the... Okay. Next up is the Falcon. Oh, all right. Oh, Great Caesar's ghost, what was that? Why, I think we've found the fastest... Let's watch in slow motion.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex...
It's Apex Pros, the pros who knows. They're the fastest thing on the planet. When you have a problem with your plumbing, furnace, air conditioner, or electrical system, Apex Pros gets to you faster than apparently everything. Leaves are blown from trees. Paint is stripped from buildings. Mothers clutch their children's hands. Because when you have something broken in your plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, you don't want to wait.
Columbus loves Apex Pros. ApexPros.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman, and for the longest time, I figured the less I did, the less I'd hurt. Well, I figured wrong. Something always happens, and when it does, I've always gone to Orthopedic One, Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice. They rank #1 in Ohio and top 5 in the nation for orthopedics. So whether you're struggling with ongoing pain or facing a sudden orthopedic injury, you can always schedule an appointment directly with their physicians. No referral required. Start with the specialists. Start at orthopedic1.com. Everybody thinks they're a great driver. Outlaw Motor Speedway gives you the chance to prove it. Experience professional racing simulators, full motion rigs, and some of the world's iconic tracks right here in Grandview. Race your friends, join a league, or bring the office out for an unforgettable corporate event. And when the checkered flag drops, keep the night going with great food and drinks here or next door at Agave and Rye. Then climb back in the driver's seat and see who's got what it takes. Book your race today at outlawsimracing.com.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The Reds couldn't get much going against Washington yesterday, falling to the Nationals 8-2. Chase Burns worked 5 innings and was charged with 5 runs, while Eugenio Suarez provided all of Cincinnati's offense with a 2-run homer. The Reds will look to close out the series with a win today at 12:15, and we'll have you covered with pregame starting at 11:45 right here on The Fan. In Cleveland, the Guardians had a similar result, dropping a 6-3 decision to the White Sox. It was a scoreless game through 5 before Chicago erupted for 5 runs in the 6th. Cleveland couldn't mount a comeback from there. The Guardians and White Sox are back at it this afternoon at 2:10. Cleveland is now 3 games back of Chicago in the Central and remains tied with Minnesota for second. In the NFL, the Commanders got some tough news on the injury front. Left tackle Laramie Tunsil suffered a torn tricep at practice and is expected to have surgery. He's likely to miss a significant chunk of the season.
Scotty Vegas is still offering player props at his kids' soccer games. This is On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Welcome back to On the Money. Yeah, you guys are stuck with us for another 45 minutes. A little bonus on the money as we lead up to pregame coverage of the Reds at the Nationals. I am Dave Biddle. I'm joined by Scotty Vegas, Mr. Isaiah Jacob at the controls. We're going to talk a lot of Ohio State football and college football in general these last 45 minutes. Before I kick it to you, Scott, I do want to get your thoughts on what I've been saying all offseason. I'm kind of joking when I say this. Is Julian Sayin slander, as I call it. And not everybody is giving Julian Sayin slander. This is a young man that was a Heisman finalist as a redshirt freshman. People are talking about him like he's like this like game manager. Like I mean, my gosh, this guy has like the quickest release and the best accuracy I might have seen from an Ohio State quarterback. And I thought after C.J. Stroud, that would be like the gold standard. You could make an argument for C.J., but I think he's going to be better this year. He's got 14 starts under his belt. He now has a real offensive coordinator, not somebody who's kind of been promoted over his head to offensive coordinator. It's interesting reading some of these national stories. And not everybody. I mean, Phil Steele has him ranked as the number 1 quarterback in the nation. So it's not like everybody's ripping him. Todd McShay, who I think does a good job overall and works hard, says he's not even a top 10 national quarterback. I think that's blasphemy. Just curious to get your take. I understand the way the last 2 games ended, but I thought the offensive line got blown up. Good luck playing quarterback against those teams when your offensive line's getting blown up. Part of it was Julian, no doubt about it. Part of it was the offensive game plan, offensive line, like I said. But, man, it seems like people are really focusing on those last 2 games and almost like disrespecting Julian, in my opinion.
So I'll never forget this. So we were at the casino watching the Big Ten championship game last year, and I had 2 Heisman Trophy bets out there. I had Mendoza from the night that they played Illinois, and I took it, I think it was 35-40 to 1 that I had grabbed Mendoza. And so I went and I had that big ticket. And then as Ohio State's season is progressing and Sayin's numbers are incredible, I started grabbing Julian Sayin Heisman Trophy odds and betting tickets. And then what happens is we get to the Big Ten championship game, and at that point, they are basically neck and neck as far as the odds to win the Heisman. And we're watching the start of the game, and Mendoza takes a really, really hard hit. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, if Mendoza's knocked out of this game, Indiana's not going to win, number 1, but also number 2, Sayin is going to go on and win the Heisman Trophy. That's how close this really was last year in the very last Saturday of the season, where Sayin had a legit shot to win the Heisman Trophy last year. And now you're talking about him coming back with the best player in college football as his wide receiver, with what we think are 2 really, really good running backs, and going in with an offensive line that has a ton of experience working together and has the continuity of having last year under their belt. And yeah, the end of the season was rough, but man, I think Sayin is set up to have a monster year. And then you look at his offseason and the work that he put in and how his body is different. And just looking at him, you can see that, truly.
Oh, yeah, you definitely.
So to me, I think Julian, and you mentioned him last, I think it was in our first hour, you mentioned him at 13 to 1 being good value to win the Heisman. I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, and I think this is a good thing. I didn't like seeing Ohio State ranked number 1. I like when they're like 2. Not that would be like that disrespectful bulletin board material. We're 2 and not 1. No, but I kind of like it when Ohio State, they're never flying under the radar, but when they're doubted a little bit, put it that way. Even if they're favored in a game, people are saying, I don't know about Ohio State in this one. They tend to play their best. I like that Julian's coming into the season, even though I completely disagree with it, with a lot of people doubting him and questioning him, calling him a game manager. You had some anonymous coaches and personnel people tell Josh Pate on his show that Josh reported this, that he heard some people in college football saying Julian lacks heart. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's absolutely absurd.
But I like hearing it.
The good thing about sports is, my friends, we are about to find out for sure. That's the thing. Because they're in a debate. I don't think this is nonsense. And we're going to find out who was right and who was wrong, who was naughty and who was nice. But I think Sayin's in for a huge year this year. But I like it. I like that it's if he needs any extra motivation, and he's Southern Cal cool. I mean, he's like San Diego cool. So maybe it doesn't bother him anyway. But if he needed any extra motivation, he's certainly getting it by reading some of these stories out there.
Yeah. And again, we look at the Heisman odds and we see him at 13 to 1. He was really so close to winning it last year. That Indiana game, unfortunately, the offensive line kind of broke down a little bit, but he was so close to winning the Heisman last year. The doubts are a little funny to me. Hey, I wrote down some of the biggest storylines that I have that I'm most excited about for when we kick off this college football season in less than a month now. And here's what I wrote down, and I'm curious if you guys have the same 5 or your thoughts on the 5. Number 1 for me, and this is kind of college football as a whole, not just Ohio State, but I'm extremely excited about how many big-name quarterbacks we have in college football this year. Like, thinking about it, C.J. Carr is your Heisman Trophy favorite right now at Notre Dame. Arch Manning, we know the hype surrounding Arch. Dante Moore at Oregon had a great year last year. He's back. The excitement for Oregon. Obviously, Julian saying, then you throw in Chambliss as another guy that there's excitement about. Josh Hoover at Indiana is getting a lot of buzz. Jaden Mayava, Gunnar Stockton. I mean, just to me, John Mateer, Marcel Reed, just to me, the college football game and the season benefits so much by having big name quarterbacks coming back. That's one of the things I'm most excited about for this college football year.
Yeah, even Miami, they got Darian Mensah.
Mensah, right.
And I know the Athletic did their quarterback rankings 1 through 138, and it wasn't just their opinion. Part of it was their opinion, but they were getting like feedback from coaches and GMs and stuff like that. They had Sayin 5th in Tier 1. So I think that's fair. I'd have Sayin higher than number 5, but at least that's fair in my opinion. They had Mensah 4th. I would definitely have a Sayin over Mensah, but we'll see. Miami, I tell you what, I think Cristobal changed the narrative of himself last year. He was always known as a guy that's going to field, tough offensive line and tough defensive line, but is going to do some dumb things as far as game management. Getting to the national championship game and that was, as we know, Miami could have won that game, and that was a tough game. It was a good game. I think the better team won, but those were the 2 best teams. And we're going to get into this more next segment, how many teams have a legit chance. But I think, Miami's an interesting team this year, and their strategy of getting a new quarterback every year is kind of working for them. They went with Cam Ward, then Carson Beck last year, who, by the way, looked good in his preseason debut with the Cardinals. They took him first pick of the 3rd round. That might end up being their guy. But, I think Cristobal changed the narrative of how he coaches last year.
Yeah. So big name quarterbacks coming back. That's number 1 on my list for the excitement for this coming season. Number 2 that I have written down is the top of the Big Ten. Now, maybe this is more of a regional answer, but to me, when you've got Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana, which I think you could make the case those are potentially the 3 best teams in the country. That's another thing, is how good this Big Ten is, and the top of the Big Ten. That's another reason why I've a crazy amount of excitement for this upcoming season, is just how good that top of the Big Ten is.
You know how and I think we all do, how we think coordinators in football are so important, especially if they actually are the coordinator. They're the ones calling the defense, putting the defense together. Same thing on offense, right? I'm very curious. A guy who I thought was a really good head coach and underrated and had a great career at TCU is Gary Patterson. He's taken a few years off. USC hired him as their defensive coordinator. And we know Lincoln Riley can't field a defense to save his life, but that was an interesting hire. And again, people might say, well, Lincoln Riley's an offensive coach. He's not a defensive coach. He's the head coach. It's still your job, even if you're an offensive-minded head coach, to make sure your defense is good. Ryan Day got it right after, the Kerry Combs a couple of years of a disaster. He brought in Jim Knowles, whatever you want to say about Jim Knowles. Good hire. Very good hire. And then Matt Patricia. You got to figure it out. I'm curious. I don't know how it's going to go. He's been out of football for a couple of years. I don't know when the last time he was a defensive coordinator, but he was a defensive-minded head coach at TCU, and I thought he was a good head coach. That was an interesting hire to me. If USC, it reminded me of my Bengals. If USC can just have like a competent defense, an average defense, they might be trouble. And Gary Patterson, we'll see. I don't know how it's going to work out, but that's one thing. That's one storyline in the Big Ten that piqued my interest, is Gary Patterson being, and I think it kind of flew under the radar. When I was talking at Big Ten Media Days about it, people were like, wait, Gary Patterson at USC as defensive coordinator? I'm like, yeah, kind of flew under the radar. So that's one I'm keeping an eye on. I think that's an interesting story.
Another storyline that I can't.
Before you go on to Dave or Scott, I think that one right there you just hit, Dave, is one of my favorites, which is just the 4 spot in the Big Ten. Because pretty much everybody's on Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, and all 3 of us, when we did our Big Ten rankings earlier, we all had someone different at 4, because that's the spot where can they make the playoff? Everyone's pretty sure that those top 3 can make the playoff. Is there one more team that could sneak in and get the Big Ten to 4 teams in the playoff? And that's the portion of the season when we get closer to the end that I'll be really interested in watching.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. The other thing I wrote down is I can't wait to watch Lane Kiffin at LSU and in this SEC season. Like, I think that is going to be pure entertainment. Him in the SEC going up against Ole Miss, and now that he's kind of public enemy number 1 down there, that is going to be so much fun to follow.
And I tell you what, we don't like to give any kudos to Michigan, but one thing about Ohio State and Michigan and Texas and Oklahoma, they're playing tough non-conference games against each other. Ohio State, Texas, Michigan, Oklahoma. I love that. You got teams out there canceling games like that, scheduling cream puffs. I love that Michigan's playing Oklahoma again and Ohio State's playing Texas again. All right, up next, how many teams have a legit chance of winning the national championship in college football this year? That's coming up next on The Money.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
It's time for the summer sunset sale at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, lease a new 26 Tucson SE for $149 per month for 36 months. $149 a month. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $49.95 down plus tax title first month payment. 7,500 miles per year. Ends 8/31.
Whoa, what's all this? These screens, the food?
All for the game, bro.
Dude, let us pitch in.
No need. I've got it all covered. With T-Mobile, I'm saving $1,000 bundling my wireless and internet.
No way. Really?
Yep, and the price of my plan won't change for 5 years.
Wow, I'm definitely switching to T-Mobile.
Goal!
Here to score big with T-Mobile. Families save up to $1,000 a year when they bundle fast, easy to set up, all-in 5G home internet with 4 phone lines on Experience Beyond. And your plan price? Guaranteed for 5 years. Stay connected con tu gente and catch every match with T-Mobile. Join now at T-Mobile.com. Price guarantee on talk, text, and 5G data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Savings based on third line free via monthly bill credits. Internet discount with $15 in monthly bill credits and auto-pay discount. Qualifying credit required. Credits may take up to 2 bill cycles and will stop if you cancel any lines or change plans.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
Transform your home in one weekend and save big money at Menards. Protect and enjoy your outdoor living space with Thompson's semi-transparent wood sealer. It maintains wood's natural color and provides durable, year-round protection from water and sun damage in just one coat. Save big money on Thompson's water seal products. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help bring your dreams to life 1 gallon at a time. Stop by your local Menards today.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. You already know High Bank Distillery Co. has award-winning spirits, but now they're officially one of the most awarded brands in Central Ohio. At 614's 2026 Columbest Awards, High Bank took home honors for Best Cocktails, Best Gastropub, Best Happy Hour, Best Overall Bar, and more. And once you visit, it's easy to see why. The scratch-made food, handcrafted cocktails, whether it's date night, brunch, happy hour, or dinner with the family, High Bank has something for everyone. Visit highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
One bite in, you'll be saying, that's hot as fire. Speedway's new hottest fire chicken sandwich turns up the temp. Eat the heat for $4.99 only at Speedway. Valid through 8/25/26. Participating stores. Exclude Speedy Cafe. See app for full terms.
Common Man and Timmy here for our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Mikey, there's so much fun this month. It's just fantastic.
We've got Sun-Kissed Summer Saturday drawings where you can win up to $500 in pen cash, plus all-you-can-eat crab legs still going on.
You mean the Canadian snow crab legs, corn on the cob, and Hawaiian rolls every Tuesday?
Of course. Plus the last Saturday in the month, play the Queen's Gamble for a chance to win up to $5,000 in pen cash.
$5,000? Must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Attention, Columbus. The new player is officially in the game. Vermeer Heartland is now open at our brand new Columbus location. And that means easier access to the Vermeer equipment you trust, plus genuine Vermeer parts, expert service, and a local team ready to help keep your equipment in the game and your projects moving. We're proud to be a part of the Columbus community and ready to serve you. Vermeer Heartland is now open. Get location information at VermeerHL.com. That's VermeerHL.com.
Game on. McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite, too. Extra value meals are back.
For a limited time, get an $8 Big Mac Extra Value Meal, complete with a medium Coke and medium fries. Promotion pricing may be lower than meal pricing. Price of participation may vary.
When your furnace or air conditioner stops working, you can always rely on Atlas Butler to get it up and running the same day. So why not depend on Atlas Butler for all your plumbing needs? One call does it all.
Call 1-800-FURNACE.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, ooh, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Lots of sunshine for your Sunday afternoon with highs right around 90 degrees. There'll be a nice breeze carrying us through the rest of the afternoon into the evening hours. Lots of sunshine today, not too many clouds out there, but tonight we do have a chance of seeing some isolated showers build overnight into Monday morning. We do have a chance of those becoming strong to severe. Rain chances continue Monday through Wednesday of next week. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Lily Aldrich with 97.1 The Fan.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
Scotty Vegas can't even pronounce most of the names of the tennis players he bets on. He doesn't care, as long as they win. You are listening to On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
So we did this exercise last year, and boy, were we wrong. What we're going to do is we're going to try and determine how many teams we think have a legit shot to win the national championship. And we do that knowing that last year, Indiana was 100-1 preseason to win it all. Okay, so they were not on any of our radars of teams that could get it done. But we're going to learn our lesson, and we are going to determine how many teams can win it all this year and find a dark horse. Now, it doesn't have to be 100-1 dark horse, but a team that we think might crash the party a little bit like Indiana did last year. All right, for me, there's 7. I've got 7 teams that I think have a legit shot to win it. Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Indiana, and Miami. I draw the line right there. Right on the outside is probably Alabama and LSU. I think would probably be the 2 teams that I'm like, I don't think that they will, but, they could be in the ballpark. But I've got 7. Dave, how many do you have?
I have the exact same 7.
Oh.
Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, Georgia, Miami, in no particular order, although maybe particular order there at number 1. No, but seriously, if you gave me those 7 or the field, I would go heavy on it. Some teams just outside of there, I think BYU is going to be better, and they were 12-2 last year. Their only 2 losses were to Texas Tech. They're bringing back a lot of guys.
And they're 100-1.
And ooh, there you go, there you go. I don't think they're going to win it all, but that would be like a team that was like, I think they'll get past Texas Tech this year and be the Big 12 champ. Houston's getting some love in the Big 12 as well, but I'm going to pick BYU to win that league. And I know Texas A&M's. Rightfully so. Like, their reputation is they'll find a way to screw it up. I get it, but I think Elko's different. And I know they lost to Miami in College Station last year in the playoffs, but that game was played in a wind tunnel. Miami ended up being a lot better than anybody thought, and it wasn't like it was a blowout. I think Elko's a good coach. A&M has a lot of guys back. That would be one that would be like outside my top 7 that I would keep an eye on. Again, I don't think they're going to win the national title, but and you hit on some other ones there, like maybe a Bama, depending on their quarterback situation. Yeah, I think it's 7, man. I think it's Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Miami.
What about you, Isaiah? How many can get it done?
I have 6.
Ooh.
I have 6 of the same 7 you do. There is one team that I'm leaving on the outside because I just don't think that back-to-back is realistic for Indiana. So I'm leaving them on the outside. I think it's hard to win back-to-back national championships. I love Kurt Cignetti. I think he's awesome. But back-to-back with a brand-new quarterback, a lot of turnover, losing a lot of your wide receivers, I'm going to say they are not in contention for another national championship.
Ooh.
Let me throw one other team out at you that I think could be a sleeper team. That's interesting that you're throwing Indiana out, Isaiah. There's another 100-1 team, and it's SMU. And I bring up SMU for a couple reasons. One, they play in the ACC. So I feel like their path to get to the playoff is a little bit easier playing in the ACC. They also don't play Miami at all this year. So looking at them, I could see SMU being a playoff team. They've got experience. I like their quarterback and I like their coach. That's why I throw them out there as an interesting team.
They're picked widely to finish second in the ACC behind only Miami.
So that's a team. Look, trying to find the next Indiana is probably stupid because it could be 50 years or more till we find another team that's 100-1 or more to win a championship. But that's a team that I think you could keep a little bit of an eye on.
Yeah, and Phil Steele does have Texas Tech as his favorite to win the Big 12, but he has got BYU right there. 100-1, 12-2 last year. Again, their only 2 losses were against Texas Tech. Now Texas Tech hammered them in both those games, but I think Texas Tech's going to take a mini step down back this year, and BYU's going to take a little step up. So BYU would be my dark horse candidate. But if you gave me those 7 that we picked or the field, I would go heavy on. Give me those 7. I'm usually this or the field. I'm usually taking the field. But you give me 7, I'm taking those. Even if you gave me 6, I think I would take it. Because I agree. I would never ever doubt Cignetti. But do I think Indiana's going to repeat? No. And I know they have a new quarterback, but they had a new quarterback last year too. And I don't think Hoover's going to be anywhere near as good as Mendoza. If he's going to be, that means you've got to be the Heisman winner, win a national championship, and be the number 1 overall pick of the draft. Not happening. But he was still really good getting the portal. There was a lot of debate. Was it going to be him or Sorsby or maybe Mensa? Definitely wasn't Sorsby that was the best quarterback in the portal. So Indiana did a good job there with Hoover. He was very, very productive at TCU. So they did a good job again. They've got a lot of money. Cubans pumping in money there and they've got others. I mean, who knew Indiana? I didn't know this, even being a Big Ten, follower and everything like that. I didn't know Indiana's alumni base was as huge as it is. We found that out last year.
Yeah. Hey, let's recap. So in hour number 1, we did our Big Ten predictions, and we put a lot on the line here. So if you finish 3rd, you got to buy breakfast. You got to bring in breakfast for the entire group on the Sunday after the Big Ten championship game.
Sometimes I'll just do that anyway, just being a nice guy. I haven't done that in a while, though. Isaiah, I got to do that sometime.
It's been too long.
We haven't had breakfast in here in a long time.
Yeah.
Dave did that right when I first started working with you guys. I was like, man, this is great. Dave brings in breakfast every now and then. Hasn't done it since.
Right. I feel like it was Bojangles, wasn't it?
It was Bojangles. Yeah, then I had a daughter in college, and I have no money now. No, I'm kidding. No. I gotta bring that up. Because I used to bring donuts and stuff like that. It's always something healthy, like Bojangles or donuts. Yeah.
So let's recap our Big Ten predictions. So, again, we kind of went in tiers. So all 3 of us had Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana in our top 3. The only difference was Dave had Indiana 2nd, and Isaiah and I had Oregon 2nd. So we flip-flopped there.
Because you guys hate Kurt Cignetti.
The most interesting part for the Big Ten really seems to be spot number 4, who we think is going to finish 4th in the Big Ten, which also probably kind of indicates the team that's got the most likely of making the college football playoff. Isaiah went Michigan. I went Penn State because of schedule, and Dave went USC. So that's your 4 spot. And then Dave, you went Michigan 5, Penn State 6. I went USC 5, Michigan 6. Isaiah went USC 5 and Penn State 6.
And at least on paper, as we all agree on, there are clear tiers in the Big Ten this year. Tier 1 has 3 teams in it with Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon in whatever order. Tier 2 is absolutely crystal clear with USC, Michigan, and Penn State in whatever order. And where I think the Big Ten is going to prove this year that they're better than what they've been the last few years, and I know they've won the national championship the last 3 years, but I think like kind of that middle part of the Big Ten, that Tier 3, so to speak, maybe wasn't like as strong. I think Tier 3 is pretty strong. Now, the 5 teams that I would put in Tier 4 at the bottom, not strong at all. I'm talking about like Purdue, Michigan State, Maryland, Rutgers, and probably Northwestern. But those other teams like Washington, I have them at 7th. I think we all do. We all had Iowa at 8th.
Yep.
I had Minnesota at 9th. Scotty had them nowhere near there. He had them all the way back at 10th.
No, I had him 9.
No, I had him at 9, and then you were like, "Oh, you have him a lot higher than I do," and then you had him at 10. I'm like, that's not a lot higher. One spot. But like teams like Wisconsin, Nebraska, there's some others we threw in there. I like UCLA, 7 through 13. That Tier 3, so to speak. I think that's a decent tier. I don't think any of those teams are going to challenge for the Big Ten title or make the playoffs, but like I like that 7 through 13 tier.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to bring in that Bojangles the Sunday after the championship when I win this thing.
I might bring it in, but before then, just to be a nice guy, knowing that one of you is going to be buying me breakfast the Sunday after or the Saturday after the Big Ten championship game.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't.
Why not?
Because I think you're off with your Minnesota pick. You're way too high on them.
I don't know, man. Minnesota. I even asked PJ Flick a question at Big Ten Media Days. At the main podium, he got up there. You get 15 minutes. Those coaches are supposed to. They don't give him any rules or anything. Usually the coach talks for 4 or 5 minutes and takes questions for 10. PJ was up there doing his best Jim Tressel. He was filibustering. He got all 2 questions. My question for PJ was: you've been successful at Minnesota. You've won 60% of your games, undefeated in bowl games, 8-0. What can you do to take things to the next level? He gave a pretty good answer. I mean, it's a little coach speak, but. I think Minnesota's going to be solid this year. Scotty thinks they're going to suck. I have them at 9th. Scotty has them at 10th. All right, we're going to close up the show next. This is On the Money.
On this episode of Science Stuff, we're examining the fastest things on the planet, like the cheetah. It can reach a land speed of over... probably having an off day happens to everybody, but here is the American race car. People love the thrill of the... Okay. Next up is the Falcon. No. All right. Oh, Great Caesar's ghost. What was that? Why, I think we've found the fastest. Let's watch in slow motion.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex.
It's Apex Pros. The pros who knows. They're the fastest thing on the planet. When you have a problem with your plumbing, furnace, air conditioner, or electrical system, Apex Pros gets to you faster than apparently everything. Leaves are blown from trees. Paint is stripped from buildings. Mothers clutch their children's hands. Because when you have something broken in your plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, you don't want to wait.
Columbus loves Apex Pros. ApexPros.com.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible. But Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the Columbus community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, and a member FDIC.
Nothing annoys me more than wasting time. Scotty Vegas here, and I want to be golfing or playing tennis or betting on people golfing and playing tennis. I hate waiting on an oil change, but that's all changed. Krieger Ford, the car buying experience was amazing. The service, just as good. I left my Bronco in the driveway and easily scheduled an oil change at KriegerFord.com, and they even came right to me and changed it. All game changer, the Krieger Ford experience. Experience that at KriegerFord.com.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Some people golf on Sunday mornings. Some people place bets on the people playing golf on Sunday mornings. This is On the Money.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Welcome back to On the Money. Final segment of the show. We're going a little later than usual because we've got the Cincinnati Reds at the Washington Nationals. Pre-game coverage will start at 11:45, take you up to the first pitch around noon right here on The Fan. All right, let's talk some Ohio State football. 3 days of practice in the books, really 4. They're practicing right now. It's kind of weird not being out there after being out there for the entirety of the first 3 practices. And, there was much to be gleaned. Legend Bay missed the first 2, but as you and I have talked about, the fact that he missed the first 2, was back yesterday. They didn't take his number away from him, which is a thing. They did it in the spring. They had to take his number away for a little bit. He was out there wearing the number 2. I think we're going to look back on that as a blip on the radar, Scotty, because if he did anything serious, he wouldn't have just been out 2 practices. It would have been at least 2 weeks, maybe longer. We both agree and there's been so many interesting stories. The biggest story in our opinion is that Isaiah West has made this a great competition for RB1, and that's nothing that Bo Jackson's doing wrong. It's just Isaiah West looks great, and I think if you're a Buckeye fan, this is tremendous news. This is awesome news because, as we all know, man, you need 2 good running backs, and I think Jacoby Jackson's going to have a role on this team too as the third string tailback. But having 1A and 1B, which it looks like they're going to have, and maybe Isaiah's going to be the one to take that first rep against Ball State, maybe take the first rep against Texas. I think he's a little ahead of Bo right now, which I never expected. To me, that is, I know you agree, Scotty, that is the biggest story out of camp this early.
Yeah, and again, between the 3 of us here on this show, we've been out there for 3 days. We were out there combined over 50 hours of watching practice. And I think that the Isaiah West news is probably the most interesting thing that we've seen, but there's a lot of different things. One of the things that really caught my eye too is the eye test, and you look at Julian Sayin, and you can tell his body's different. You can tell his leadership is different. We heard from Carson Hinsman kind of talk about how he's kind of found his voice even more. A couple of other things that we noticed is they were working a little bit more on play action over the last couple days, a little bit more of quarterback under center. So that's kind of the things I would say. We've been talking a lot of really good news, a lot of good things with camp. I am curious because you and I were actually standing next to each other when this was happening. But we were watching some of the kickers, and Connor Hawkins is a new transfer kicker in. That's still a big concern for Buckeye fans is the field goal kicking position, and it should be because it has been a sore subject for Ohio State over the last 5 or 6 years. Talk to me a little bit about, should Ohio State fans still be concerned a little bit? We watched a little bit of practice. We saw a couple not so great kicks, but it was such a small sample size. Your thoughts on special teams and specifically kickers?
Yeah, it's hard to tell for sure, but Connor Hawkins had a really good year as he was a redshirt freshman last year, which isn't even a term anymore. He's just a third-year player now that has 3 years left, including this one. But he was clutch at Baylor. It wasn't just that he had a good year overall. I mean, you look at Jaden Fielding's stats. If you didn't know any better, you just looked at his percentage. Oh, he had a solid year last year. It's no, trust us, he didn't. Because clutch kicks were not his thing. Clutch kicks, now it's a small sample size of 1 year at Baylor and just a handful of clutch kicks, but he was very good at clutch kicks last year. I believe in him. He was the best kicker in the portal for whatever that's worth. I think he's going to have a good year. It's going to be an improvement over Jaden Fielding. But, Scotty, it's one of those things is we're not kicking experts, and they don't do a lot of it out there, so it's really hard to get a good gauge. We won't really know until he's, put under the test. We won't really know until he has to kick a big field goal against Texas or later in the season. He's going to have to kick a lot more than one big field goal this season. We won't know. I tend to think it's going to work out well for Ohio State, but we shall see.
One of the other things that I wanted to keep an eye on, and I really didn't do a good job of this, but this is something that I wanted to see, and I really didn't get an opportunity to watch much of the quarterbacks other than just kind of seeing Julian Sayin. But as far as Tavian St. Clair, we saw practice Thursday through Saturday. I didn't see much. Did you get a chance to watch much of Tavian?
Yeah, and he's up and down. I thought he had a good day yesterday. I mean, he looks so good when he scrambles because he's big and physical and fast. Throwing the ball, I thought he was a little indecisive the first 2 days, and that would cost him. I thought he was more decisive with his throws yesterday. This is a big year for his development because I think they're going to get him out there, in certain games and try and get him ready for next year. So he's been a little up and down, but that's to be expected. He's still pretty raw. He went to a somewhat small high school in Ohio, Bell Fountain. I mean, they're not super small. There's 7 divisions. Bell Fountain's Division 3. 1 being the highest, 7 being the smallest. They're kind of in the middle. But still, he's somewhat raw. But, man, he's got all the physical traits in the world. I tell you what, I was kind of joking with some of my friends. I'm like, tell you what, guys, we got a quarterback controversy. Like, what? What? Like, Julian and Tavian? No. Luke Fahey and Justin Martin for the number 3 job. No, but I think it's clearly Luke Fahey, if he wasn't 5'11", was like 6'3", he would have been a big time recruit. And I know if my aunt had bleeps, I know if he wasn't 5'11", I know that's a big if. This kid was dropping dimes all over the place when we were indoors. He was dropping dimes all over the place. So I think if they had to go to an emergency third-string quarterback, let's hope they don't have to do that unless they pull a 2014 and win the national championship with their third-string quarterback. I was assuming it was going to be Justin Martin, the guy they brought in, who had been at UCLA, was in at Maryland. No, I think it's going to be true freshman Luke Fahey. Well, freshman. I got to get that out of my – there's no more true freshman, redshirt freshman. It's just freshman.
Well, and we have a ton of focus, as we should, on this upcoming season. However, there was big recruiting news for Ohio State in the quarterback position that came out yesterday as well. And another huge target for Ohio State is committed. And your thoughts, just again, the quarterback position is so loaded at Ohio State, and you see it down the line. And the 2028 recruiting class just had big news yesterday.
Christopher Vargas, the number 1 quarterback in the country, number 1 pro-style pocket passer in the country, is going to be a Buckeye. He's a young man who's just entering his junior year of high school. And they also have their quarterback who's entering his senior year of high school in Brady Edmonds. So they have their 2027 quarterback who's a high 4-star. And now they've got the 5-star for 2028. Yeah. It's almost like these guys know that, playing quarterback for Ryan Day with these wide receivers is probably a good idea. And even if it doesn't work out for you, look at Lincoln Keenholz right now. Like, even if it doesn't work out for you as a starter, look how much he was developed over 3 years at Ohio State. Now he's the starter at Louisville, and Louisville's getting some love from Louisville. And he now has 2 years left with Braum, who does a good job with quarterbacks. I mean, and even Kyle McCord, I wasn't a big fan of Kyle McCord. He went to Syracuse and had a good year. He threw a lot of interceptions, but he also threw for a ton of yards. Even if it doesn't work out well for you at Ohio State, as far as becoming the starter, you can get developed and then transfer. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Next year, I did have somebody tell me, I was kind of joking about Luke Fahey and a quarterback controversy. I did have somebody tell me they won't be surprised next year if it's more of a competition than people think between Fahey and St. Clair if it works out that way. I tend to think Tavian's the guy of the future. His physical traits are just off the board. Now he's going to be entering his 3rd year next year in this program. I got to think Tavian's the guy. But Luke Fahey has looked good as a freshman.
One of the things that I walked away with after, again, spending 3 days out there and having a blast, but was there is no way I see this team winning less than 10 games. And the over-under on Ohio State's season win total is 9.5, and I get the juice. I get that it's minus 180. I just look at the talent across the board and the depth across the board on this Ohio State team, and I'm like, gosh, I feel like that over 9.5 is gift central, and that's one of the things that I'm looking at on betting Ohio State. I like your advice on stay away from betting Ohio State to win the Big Ten championship, because that's not a huge goal. Sure, it's a goal for Ohio State. They want to win every game. They want to win a conference, but that's not on the board of top things to accomplish this year. Winning a national championship and beating Michigan are the two.
Yep. And they'll go in reverse order of that. They'll say beat Michigan, probably because that's chronological order. What are the main goals? Beat Michigan, win the national championship. And those you used to have to be able to beat Michigan to win the national championship. 2 years ago, we know what happened, but they're going to beat Michigan. This will be the first time Ryan Day's beaten Michigan at Ohio Stadium. He obviously had the 2020 season stolen from him. It was 2020 game, I should say. He's beat Michigan twice in Ann Arbor. This is going to be his first time beating Michigan at the Horseshoe, in my opinion. Another story that I find interesting, local product and, son of a Buckeye legend, Will Smith Jr. running with the first team defense at D tackle. And I think James Smith and John Walker are going to play a ton this year. But right now it's Edric Houston, and it is Will Smith Jr. running with the first team at D tackle. And Will Smith Jr.'s bulked up, man. He's up to 303 pounds.
Yeah.
That was he's going to be undersized.
Speaking of bulked up,
he's looking good.
James Smith.
James Smith looks good. James Smith looks good. The Reds don't look good, but maybe they will today. That is our show for today. Thank you very much for joining us. For Scotty Vegas and Isaiah Jacob, I am Dave Biddle. Up next on The Fan is the Cincinnati Reds at the Washington Nationals. This has been On the Money.
have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're